Yesterday was such a busy day. I tell you, I'm going to talk about America's Got Talent for a second, but it's kind of a peripheral conversation. It's about business. I tell you, it's such a crazy ride over there. One of the things I found confusing last year about America's Got Talent was that we were in Newark doing the show. And by the way, the Newark facility was gorgeous, but it is very far from Manhattan. And when they were talking about another season, me doing another season, I said, for Christ's sakes, we're in New York. Can't we work out of New York? New York City, I mean.
In Manhattan.
Yeah, and I'll be honest with you. I always had a dream. I thought that I would be New York's hero. I grew up in New York. I love this city. That's why I took offense when they said, oh, I'm looking to move down to Florida to avoid paying taxes. It's an honor to pay taxes in New York City. This is the greatest city in the world. And yes, you do have to pay to be here.
Now, you say that. I thought about that yesterday when you said that.
Yeah.
You've never been to most other cities.
Well, I know what I read. What? I was in San Antonio. What are you talking about? By the way, beautiful San Antonio River. I took a run there. Very nice. That's all I saw. But New York is the capital of the world, not of the United States, of the world. Really is. And if you don't understand that, you've never been here. So much creativity comes out of New York City. So much in terms of business and art. The museums, the restaurants. I mean, it is just a phenomenon. It is the greatest. That's why every terrorist wants to take it down. And that's why when I go to like upstate New York, and they go, "You New Yorkers," and it's like, "Shut the fuck up, asshole." The New York spreads
Even
its
in
wings.
New York,
Right?
They want to take it down.
Right. So the people in Newark were great, really, really truthfully. But Jesus Christ, when we would do the show and we're doing the morning show, and I'd go out there and who the hell wants to deal with traffic and stuff? So I had said to NBC, how about doing the show in New York? What's going on? I thought we were doing it in New York, and I had a dream, like Martin Luther King. I had a dream that. When I said to NBC, the day I met with them many times, actually, but I said to them on one occasion, if I sign up to do America's Got Talent, we got to do it in New York. I can't do it in L.A. And in the back of my mind, I said, wow, this will be a great thing for New York because it's a major sort of live show. It brings money into the city. It adds to the tax base. You understand, Robin, that
yes,
this is an important thing.
Wonderful for New York.
Wonderful for New York. So I'll admit that I was a little disappointed. I was happy we brought money into Newark. But, my mission, I had a weird thought that, wow, I can't believe how many parades they're going to have for me when I bring this show to New York. Because all of these shows take place in L.A., and L.A. is the center for all of this stuff. And the fact that I was in a position in my life that somebody wanted me enough that they'd move the entire production to New York was maybe the greatest thing ever. I mean, it was a wonderful thing for NBC to even consider doing that. I mean, think about it. It's crazy, really.
Yeah, to change the show's location?
I was so honored by... this conversation I had with Paul Telegdi and Meredith R. and these other people, that I was moved by it. Can you imagine, for me, a shithead from Long Island?
Well,
Robin, you've said it. They all say it.
Do you have to say such nice things about yourself?
Honest to God, it was really quite something.
But that boy standing in the corner, being ignored by everyone.
Not everyone. There was one person who paid attention. My mother, and she wouldn't get away from it. Yes. Yeah, well, anyway, it was really quite something. And I said, gee, this is a great gift for New York. So I was quite proud of myself. Of course, no one else really noticed. But... So, I got excited about it. Well, when I met with them, I said, gee, can you find a New York venue this year? They said, well, we're going to make our best effort. We really, really are. And, Crazy. So last night, I'm sitting home, 7 o'clock at night. My agent rings up, and he's sending an email from NBC. They have this announcement to make, an announcement. So, yeah, exactly. So my agent says, hey, why don't you let Howard make the announcement? There's an announcement to be made about the location. Why don't you have Howard make it? Because, A, Howard's from New York. B, this really means something to New York. And you know what? It's always a little more exciting when it comes from Howard. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It's a good thing. So I said to my agent, I go, why is everything last minute? Why can't we plan something like this? Let's make the announcement some sort of interesting way. He said, well, yeah, I agree with you, but what are you going to do? And so it was top secret. I was afraid to even tell Beth last night.
Really? Might get out.
Yeah, like who knows? She might accidentally say something to someone. And, I'm guarding this secret. I've been guarding it for months,
Oh, my. You knew this for months?
I knew that this was in the planning, but then they said it wasn't going to happen. At one point, they even told me I have to pay for it. So, don't think I'm joking.
Oh, my God.
So, well, there's no end.
Every job you get these days.
Yeah, everyone wants me paying for stuff. This is what happens in the newspaper when they inflate your salary. Anyway, so, believe me, if I could, I'd do the whole damn show from my apartment.
You got a facility.
Yeah. Well, kill the music for 1 second, please. Thank you. So anyway, going on with the story, I'm like, oh my God, here's the announcement, and I'm going to get to make the announcement. I got to keep it super quiet. And then there's a coordinated effort. NBC's saying, don't make the announcement till 7 o'clock because we're going to press release it. Embargo, blah, 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 blah. Now I'm all excited that I get to make this announcement, which is part of my dream to bring revenue to New York City, blah, 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 blah. I love this city. I love the mayor. I love the governor, blah, 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 blah. I'm planning my speech.
Even when you don't love the mayor, you love the city.
Right. No, I love the mayor.
Well, I'm talking about there have been other administrations.
Yeah. Oh, yes. I can point to a few. But nevertheless, I'm all excited. So I come in this morning, and I had to include Gary in this because he was helping me coordinate the announcement. And Gary goes, Jesus Christ, I got that memo late last night. I didn't understand that. I go, no.
This is all going on last night.
Oh, my God. Robin, carrying on with this memo, top secret, don't ask, right?
This is crazy.
And me, because they're a network, I figure they are under control and they know what the fuck they're doing.
It sounds like this is our kind of organization.
Oh, worse. We might be more organized than NBC. Honest to God, I've decided.
Oh, my goodness.
With the fiasco and late night and mornings, and it's just crazy. So I go, now I know why. So I go, oh, okay, this is great. I'm keeping it quiet. So I get in this morning, and I said, well, I'll tell Ronnie, because Ronnie does secure. Now in the morning, I can tell him. Ronnie works over at America's Got Talent with me. I'm going to tell Ronnie, and I'm going to tell Tony, the hairdresser, because she works there with me all the time.
Right.
I said, look, I got to tell you something, the two of you. I'm not making the announcement till 7. I'm letting you know early. I haven't told a soul. But I'm going to make this announcement this morning. And here's what it is. And Tony goes, oh, yes, it's in the newspaper. Yeah, this is it. I go, what newspaper is it in? Let's go to the Daily News.
Oh, Jesus.
So I go, no, it's not, because I have the Daily News. I open the Daily News, my Daily News. It's not in there. She goes, oh, that's interesting. And she opens her Daily News, and it's in there. So mind you, somebody gave this to the Daily News over there. They're carrying on.
And they got it into some of the editions.
And they so didn't care that they only put it into one edition. They didn't even put in the other edition. So, again, I'm thwarted, and I feel foolish. But anyway, what can I tell you?
Well, nobody would know that all of that went on.
Oh,
except for you telling us.
Well, I'm annoyed. But anyway, the exciting news is, it doesn't take away from the fact that I'm excited. The exciting news is, are you ready, Marianne?
Howard, I'm dying. I don't have no newspaper here at 6:30. Is it Radio City Music Hall in New York City? Or is it in freaking Brooklyn?
Radio City Music Hall.
You're kidding.
No.
Oh, my God.
can't believe it. You know what kind of box they got there? You know how you're going to look on that stage? Oh, my God, Howard, it's going to be Bedlam in New York. People are going to go wild. I'm so excited. All I need is Howard in my life on the AT&T stage. I love you, Howard.
All right, Marion, thank you.
You're
well,
the
anyway,
man, Howard. I'm the queen.
well-
I got my gown. I cannot wait.
well, anyway, I
Boy,
was
that's
so.
the person to tell something you're excited.
Yeah, you're not kidding. Yeah, I was so mildly excited. But why I'm excited about this is that, first of all, Radio City Music Hall has such a great meaning in my life. You know, many times my parents would take me there. I'd see the Rockettes in a movie after we ate at Tad's, and I'd be so gassy from Tad's, but I couldn't fart in public, that my gas would back up. So there were so many painful moments in Radio City Music Hall. So many wonderful memories of my father telling me to pee, but I couldn't because my penis was too small. Right there in that bathroom at Radio City Music Hall, Robin.
But wait
I
a minute,
have so
back
many
up.
great memories.
Yeah,
Oh,
but
how
anyway,
I
you
love
might-
But wait, back up for me for a second,
yes.
because I didn't ever understand the movie and the Rockettes.
Oh, you always went around Christmas when your parents took you to Radio City Music Hall. It was a big deal. We get dressed up. They had a live show first, and then the movie.
And the Rockettes were the whole show?
The Rockettes were the main attraction.
Wow.
Look at them. They do it in unison.
Guaranteed, Howard, they're going to bring
So-
you out with Rockettes.
That's the plan. All right. So anyway,
Howard, I'm so excited.
thank you, Marion.
I love you, Howard.
I'll see you there.
I love you. All I need is Howard.
All right. Anyway, the reason I got excited about this is it's very different when you do a television show and they go live from New York as opposed to Newark.
And live from Radio City.
Radio City, it's such a legendary place. And I even said to America's Got Talent, I said, there's going to be such a run on tickets because people love to see a show. You know, and to see it at Radio City, and it's great. It's great for the city. It brings in a lot of revenue.
It's very exciting.
Very exciting, and I know it took them forever to put the deal together. And not to really, in all honesty, the guys at NBC did a beautiful job because.
Were you the holdup? Radio City? Well, Howard Stern is going to be on our marquee.
Yeah, I think they were concerned that I'd be there. I think in order to make the deal, they threw me out. But I know what a difficult deal this was to put together. And I believe it involved the governor's office. So don't ask; it's a whole thing.
Everybody got involved.
Yeah, I don't know the whole story.
I guess it is.
Where is the press
That takes
release?
up a lot of time, doesn't it? Having your set at Radio City Music Hall.
Yeah. Oh, it's crazy. It's really great. And can you imagine the fans here in New York going nuts with the tickets and the whole thing? It should be really, really great. It is one of the most historic venues in the world. And let's see what Paul said. There are a few entertainment shrines in the world that are as venerated as Radio City Music Hall. He used a lot of big words.
Venerated.
Yeah, well, that's how you get to be the head of late night.
What does that mean?
Many of them, who knows? I think that's like when you put holes in something and a lot of air goes through it.
I think that's ventilated.
Oh, right. Same difference. Many of America's greatest performers have graced this legendary stage. Now AGT will have the rare opportunity to discover greatness in this renowned venue. We're delighted. The 8th season of America's Got Talent will come from New York. Blah, blah, blah. We applaud Governor Cuomo and New York legislature for developing and advocating programs that attract investment and create jobs for New Yorkers. Said Rick Cotton, Executive Vice President, General Counsel for NBC. Let's see. Today's announcements for the proof that New York is becoming the place to be for film and television industry, Governor Cuomo said. See?
Oh, the governor's commenting.
Yeah. Well, that was my dream.
Well, let me say, I will ask something here because I'm
Go ahead.
reading now what was in the Daily News.
Thank you.
And it says that it's due to the Jimmy Fallon tax credit?
Yeah, well, I think that NBC wants to move the Tonight Show to New York.
Right.
So in order to keep him there, they created a tax benefit for NBC to keep the show in New York.
Wow.
Yeah. I hope I'm saying that right. I mean, what do I know? I mean, that's the worst kept secret, too, that Jimmy Fallon's taking over the Tonight Show. It's a done deal.
They've already made a law in New York.
Here, look. Jimmy Fallon closes NBC Tonight Show deal. Seth Meyers eyed for late night. It's already a done deal.
Where's Jay in all this?
Jay's out the fucking door.
They're not even talking about it.
Done
Last
deal,
time,
pal.
If I'm Jay, I'm going to Fox.
last time, remember, they would say, Jay will still be in the mix. Now there's no even in the mix.
Do you imagine Fox just takes Jay and then they have the #1 late night show?
Is that possible?
What? What?
Sometimes those things just don't work out.
You know what I might do? I might let Jay warm up the crowd for America's Got Talent this summer.
That would be so funny.
Hey, everybody. Hey, here comes your judge. How it's doing?
All right, when the judges come out, you're going to stand up.
Isn't that great?
Let's practice.
All right, we're going to practice now. Everyone say, you're going to Vegas. Yeah, Vegas. Everyone practice the chant.
And put up your arms like this when you want to make the judges get an X.
That's right. If you don't like something, you can boo. I mean, that's a practice. 1, 2, 3, boo.
Anybody with a T-shirt?
Yeah. Jimmy Fallon's march to inherit the Tonight Show is nearly complete. The late-night host has closed a new deal with NBC that will pave the way for him to replace Jay Leno in the 11:35 p.m. slot. What's so great is, too, they drag it out. Jay just looks like a buffoon.
But now I didn't understand what you were talking about. So you knew all of this before Jay did that duet with Jimmy Fallon the other day. No wonder you said it made him look like a shithead.
Yeah, he's a shithead. Everything Jay does is a shithead. I'm so glad NBC's getting rid of him. Yeah, because we got to do upfronts in L.A. with I got to appear with the crew of The Voice, for something. I don't even know what it is, and I know Leno's going to be there. It's going to be fucking embarrassing.
Really?
Hopefully they'll fire his ass before I got to go do that next month.
Would he show up?
I don't know.
Why would he show up?
He could do a duet with me. Still not clear as when exactly Fallon will take over tonight. The Hollywood Reporter's source says some NBC execs want to launch Fallon's New York base tonight in February during the network's highly rated coverage of the Winter Olympics. February. Oh, okay.
February what?
Oh, February. February.
Oh.
February.
February of 2014.
But producer Lorne Michaels has said to prefer to give Fallon a little more time.
Lorne Michaels going to produce.
First of all, that's the star of late night right now. They see Lorne Michaels knows how to play it. I was just telling Gary this. The guy quietly behind the scenes now has completely wrapped up late night. He owns it. He's got the 12:30 slot he's going to produce with Seth Meyers. He's got the 11:30 slot with Fallon. And he's got Saturday Night Live. Completely locked up the entire franchise. And he controls the whole fucking thing. That's the way to do it. And I admire that. Keeps his mouth shut. You never hear from the guy.
Well, hasn't he had his run-ins? I mean, there was a period of time where he didn't run Saturday Night Live.
Yeah, look how well that worked out.
But he let him flounder, and then he came back, and he was the savior, I guess.
Yeah, he did it perfectly.
Jay saved, but no accolades.
Wouldn't you love if Jay took over Conan's show at TBS? Stole
That's
the show.
what he should do. Now he should start hiding in the closet at TBS meeting.
Would Conan kill him? He probably would just kill him.
You know what? Yeah. And everybody would say he had a right to.
I was watching Conan. I watched because I love Seth Rogen, and Seth Rogen was a guest. He was so good on Conan. But I taped it. Otherwise you forget about Conan.
I haven't really looked since he started that show.
It's somewhat sad when you tune in, actually. You feel bad for the guy.
You almost feel like nobody's watching but that audience he's talking to.
Yeah.
Like there's no one at home.
Yeah, I mean, he just blew out. Well, okay. What are you going to do?
It's like nobody even talks about, are you going to do Conan? No, that isn't even a question anymore.
Right. I would do Conan if I lived in L.A. just because I feel bad for him.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, people, are you going to do Fallon? Are you going to do this? Are you going to do that? Nobody says Conan.
Yeah.
Used to be the guy.
Yeah, NBC was talking to me about doing some appearances before the start of America's Got Talent. I told them I don't want to do too many. I hate those fucking appearances. I think next week I got to do the Today Show.
Yeah, you said maybe
with the whole group.
Interview?
I don't like to do group interviews. I'll be honest. I'm not such a great team player.
You know what's? How do they seat you even?
It's like Howie and I are bookends, and then the two gals
on a couch.
Yeah, and they kind of seat us the way we are as judges. Like Heidi's next to me, and then Mel B is next to Howie. It's like wherever we go, we're glued that way. And so they were like, "Hey, would you go on the Today Show and talk to Matt?" I go, "Yeah, sure." And they go, "Oh, with the whole gang." And I go, "Oh, okay."
Well, now Heidi's going to be the big attention getter because she saved her kid.
Right. It's perfect.
I'm going to talk to you. Who you saved?
I'm gonna stand there. And
you didn't even tell me. She also saved the nanny. She was saving everybody in Hawaii.
Are you forgetting that I'm a hero and I saved a guy from jumping off a bridge a couple of years ago?
How many years ago?
Oh, I'm still playing that one. I'm actually going to go on dressed as Ann Curry. I'll be like, "Oh, hello, Matt. I'm back."
Oh, dear.
Fucking Ann Curry. Everyone acting like now they all of a sudden love her. You all hated her. Give Matt a break. He's just trying to get rid of her so fucking you people would be happy.
I think people just love to be involved.
Yeah. Like all of a sudden Matt's a bad guy because they got rid of Ann Curry. Nobody even liked her.
What's wrong with the Today Show? Nothing's wrong with it.
P.S. Matt doesn't even have the power to get rid of anybody. As much as you'd like to think. He didn't have the power to get rid of Ann Curry. That's the network's decision. You should fucking.
But still, they're like, you shouldn't have even talked about it.
Right.
They act like Al Roker's a saint. Al Roker never said anything?
Al Roker hates Ann Curry. Let's start that rumor. No, Al likes everyone. That's what I'm going to do. You know what? I am going to go on the Today Show, and I'll sit there and I'll let Heidi do her thing, and I'll let Mel B do their thing, and I'll let Howie do his thing. And then whatever little time is left over for me, I'm going to say I'd like to make a statement now in favor of Mr. Matt Lauer. And then the place will quiet down, and I will just say, can we be honest? Everyone hated Ann Curry. I don't know one woman who watches the Today Show who liked her. And this idea that everyone is blaming Matt, why don't you all go fuck yourselves? I mean, really, it's abhorrent to me. This is what NBC should do for Matt, but I'll do it. I'll take care of it. I'll take the hit. I'm just going to go, it's
Are you so sure that they're on board with Matt?
I don't care what they're on board with. I'm on board with Matt.
Because I've been hearing some crazy stuff about people who have already been lined up to replace Matt Lauer.
They're making a mistake. Their ratings will go way down.
Did you see that all weekend? They were talking about
sure.
The guy from CNN.
Everyone hates him. That guy from CNN. They don't know what... CNN be thrilled to get rid of Anderson Cooper. That motherfucker takes over New Year's Eve. You want to hang yourself. Anderson Cooper. Like, that's some sort of bargain.
They apparently have been in secret talks with him.
What, Anderson Cooper is better than Matt Lauer? I don't think so. No.
NBC is doing strange things to get ratings these days. Disparaging their head guys.
Anybody is good. But, hey, I'm on board with NBC. This move into radio...
Are you going to be all right?
I'm going to throw up. I'm so excited.
This is too exciting for you.
It really is. I'm thrilled. First of all, the show, the schedule is from 9 to like 11 o'clock on Tuesday night. So this way I can just go right home and go to bed.
You almost live there.
Yeah, exactly. Radio City's across from here, from this building.
I know.
I didn't know that. I know you know that.
You didn't know?
I just learned that. But look out the fucking window. Maybe I know something. Ronnie just said to me, we're right next door to Radio City. I go, no kidding.
You're across the street.
Oh, I didn't know that. I said, is there any way I can get there underground?
You're so funny. You're right in the neighborhood, and you probably said, I wonder how you get there.
Well, how do you get there?
Same way you get here.
Yeah, but I don't know how to get here either. I still don't know this address.
Oh, my
And I'm not joking.
You don't know where we are. If somebody said to you, where is your building?
I know it's the McGraw-Hill building, but I don't...
where is it?
I don't know.
What street is it on?
What I say is it's in Rockefeller Center.
And what street is it on?
I don't know. I told you I don't know.
It's on...
How would I know that?
6th Avenue.
That would mean I have to actually open my eyes when I'm in a car and look at something.
And between what and what?
I don't know. I know 6th Avenue, maybe?
Well, it's on 6th Avenue.
Oh, it's not between 6th Avenue?
Can you picture?
That's pretty good. That's
Is it like 47th Street?
No.
What is it? Where are we? Where are we right now? Someone tell me where we are. I should know that.
We're, you really want to know?
Yeah.
We're between 48th and 49th.
And 49th.
Well, I was off 1 block.
Yeah.
Okay.
But that makes a big difference because you can't even see it from 40.
That's a nice building, too, though.
Yeah.
Can you picture on a map where we are?
No. I don't.
You can't picture New York.
I love not to know.
He couldn't
I really do. I love not to know. I don't have any idea where anything is. And I'm embarrassed by it. And I've got to get that under control. That's one of my things on my someday maybe list.
Do you think you could recognize the state of New York on a map of the United States?
I know where it is, yes.
You could recognize it and point it out?
No.
They picked out shapes.
I don't know anything.
Like not the...
I know where like Texas is because it looks like weird. It's at the bottom there. I know where Florida is. I know where New York is kind of. It's in that upper right-hand corner.
It's in a jumble of states.
It's in a jumble of bullshit.
Could you pick it out?
Yeah, I know like Vermont's there somewhere.
You said you couldn't get home. Could you really...
I think I could get home, but it would take me some time to figure it out.
He'd have a phone that he used
my Google
the
phone.
GPS
But
on.
so you wouldn't know in general what direction to walk, or?
No, I have no idea.
Wow.
If I walked out of the building right now, I'd have no idea where I was or how to get home.
I told Benji I live 2 blocks from him. He used GPS to find me. He's been there
And you know what? I'm going to admit something even more embarrassing.
What?
When I left your apartment, I used GPS again to get home. Even though I had just come 2 blocks to see you. I have no idea where anything is. I don't know how you guys do that.
That's part of what's so great about Manhattan is you can...
I know.
It's easy to get around.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I said to my wife. We don't need to live in Manhattan. It's a waste on me because I don't know where anything is.
Do you know how wide the island is?
No. So, I don't know.
It's only 2.5 miles wide.
Yeah,
at the widest.
you're telling me information I don't know.
Yeah.
It's
I'm
funny.
honest.
There's a restaurant, a wonderful restaurant that's a couple of blocks from Howard. I told him I was there. He goes, "Oh, I've never been. I don't know that restaurant."
Of course not. I don't know any restaurant. I only know where Beth takes me.
You gotta start. If you start bike riding, you'll learn it.
Oh,
Yeah,
forget
well,
bike riding.
it's very
We'd
dangerous.
Get lost, and we'd never hear from
Everyone
him.
I know who bike rides has been hit by a cab in Manhattan.
Fred rides a bike. He's never
Not
been
in
hit by a
Manhattan, I
bike.
don't.
No, he
Oh, you
doesn't.
don't?
No,
I do not.
Well, it's
People are
different.
crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy. I'm talking
I
about
don't know how people
who are.
do it. I thought Fred did it.
No, it's so dangerous.
But anyway,
Remember that good-looking kid who used to work for us? That guy that every
Sussy.
chick loved? Yeah. No, not Sussy.
Not
I know.
Sussy.
He was for the TV.
From the Howard TV. He was a bike rider, big bike rider, athlete. Boom, gets hit by a cab. He has a scar
Gump?
now from the top of his head to the chin.
He's still better looking than all of us.
Yeah, he is.
Who's that?
Was that gum?
No.
Oh, Adam.
Yeah.
He got slammed, and then I have another friend who she went right over the top of a cab.
Wow.
Yeah, and then she's some athlete. I mean, it's ridiculous.
They're putting out all those bike lanes, and they are confusing.
Right,
Have you noticed that?
Robin. I don't even know where we are. What would I
You
notice?
don't know what's going
I
on.
just confessed to you. I don't know how to get home from here.
There are all these bike lanes, and then they have these left turn lanes. You don't know what's going on the street anymore. Is that the bike lane? Is that the turn lane? Of
Yeah.
course people are getting killed. Then they have these pedestrian things where people just start sitting in the middle of the street.
Right. Well, anyway, so the big news is, even though it's already in the newspaper and I was supposed to make the announcement, so that's a bit of a disappointment.
You
but-
know what? The other thing in the daily news story, it's really, I can't believe they put this in the
Go ahead.
story. That part of the reason they're moving the show to Radio City Music Hall is because you complained about the commute to Newark.
Well, I did. I mean,
But that doesn't. I mean, that doesn't need to be in the story. Let it just be.
I didn't write it.
His heroic story.
Yeah.
Howard brings.
You know what?
Not that he whined.
Going to New York,
complain.
going to Newark wasn't even that bad, actually. I mean, it didn't take us that long. It was like 20 minutes, on a good night. But I'm thrilled about this. This is just exciting. To me, it's exciting to walk into Radio City to do a network television show. I think it's great.
Yeah, it's just that's like you took a shot at Newark instead of this is just a great thing for New York.
Right. No, this is a slam dunk home run. Gets me totally psyched up about the show and doing it this year. Can
And
you
what are they
imagine?
going to say? Live from
New York. Hey,
or Radio City Music Hall.
right, live from Radio City Music Hall. Everyone's excited about it. And so, especially for our fans, this summer I'll see you in Radio City Music Hall because, that'll be fun. That'll be nice.
Ronnie, I just found out that the Radio City bit is being added to the Daily Show. That's seriously why I'm here.
What about?
I just want to know if that makes things a lot easier on you.
Yes, it does. It makes life a million times easier for me and for him, for Mr. Stern. He can be home in 5 minutes. He doesn't have to worry anymore.
Given the fact that it's so close to Sirius,
yeah,
will you walk him over there?
No.
You're still going to drive? Won't it seem kind of silly?
What are you talking about?
Going from Sirius to Radio City. I imagine there's going to be some days where he's going to have to go from...
No, he's not.
What about a dry run?
It's at night.
What about a dress rehearsal?
It's at night. It's at night. That's another thing. Where are you coming from with this? It's at night. It's at night. It's at night.
Say that again?
It's at fucking night.
So
Get out.
What do you got there?
Get out.
What is that? All right, I'm leaving. I'm leaving. I'm leaving. I'm leaving.
Get out.
I'm leaving.
Get out.
This is the best of the wrap-up show. A recap and behind-the-scenes look with John Hyde and Gary Dell'Abate. The best of the wrap-up show begins now.
Hey, it's Gary Dell'Abate. On Monday's wrap-up show, John and I talked about that Howard was in a very bad mood. A lot of you called in, had a lot of tough questions for us. I think we answered all of them. Here's what happened.
Let's start off with Steve in Jersey. Steve, you're on the wrap-up show.
Hey, guys.
Hi, Steve.
I just know Howard. I've been listening to you, Howard, for, 20-something years. 89, I started listening. I love the guy to death. He's really getting out of touch with his fans when he gets on there, and he's just so successful, has so much money, and complains constantly about it. I mean, we love to hear about his life, but he's losing touch with a lot of his fan base, the way he does things sometimes.
Well, I mean, the reason you listen to the show is you want to hear Howard and his life, and you want to hear him complain about it and, goof with his parents and yell at people here and everything that he does. He had a tough week, and he's letting you know how he feels. And, yeah, you're saying, well, if I was on AGT and if I blah, 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 I wouldn't complain about it. Everybody complains, no matter how successful they are.
No, I know. I love the guy to death. I hate, I hear people like me call in, and sometimes I get pissed at them. But today, I don't know, it just kind of bothered me a little, and I figured I'd call you guys. I'm a pretty middle-of-the-road listener, an average guy, and it aggravates me a little sometimes.
I get that. But again, that's what you want to hear in the show. You don't want to hear Howard come on and say, hey, what a great day. Everyone's in a great mood. That's just, one, it'll never happen. And two, that's not why so many people love the show. But he was being pretty hard on himself this morning. No doubt about it.
I'd also be upset if he came in and was like, there's this thing that happened, but I'm not going to talk about it, blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? I'd rather him say how he feels.
Yeah, better that he puts it all out there.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, like I said, it just today, I mean, I don't call too often, first-time caller, but I listen constantly, and today it got me calling. So I don't know if it's me, or if it's just him. I don't, it could be my mood today, but I just wasn't in the mood to hear it today.
All right. Well, we appreciate you calling in, Steve, and taking the time. And, yeah, I mean, Howard definitely was in one of those moods this morning. You could tell, and I don't think he really took it out on anybody here. I thought he more took it out on, whatever the subject matter was that he was discussing. And you want grumpy Howard, but sometimes, as Steve's saying, maybe you don't. So I don't know, sort of a mixed bag there.
I never want grumpy Howard.
Well, that's because you're here. If you're a listener, grumpy Howard sometimes is the best.
Right.
Let's go to David in New York. David, you're on the wrap-up show.
Louis.
Hey, David.
Hey, I just noticed off of the Mark Wahlberg interview that Howard just seemed a little distant, and it seemed like he just wanted to get it over with, you know?
I don't think that was the case. I know Mark was on a really tight schedule, and he had to be out by, I think, 8:15. So Howard had to do sort of a compressed interview there. I don't think his mood had anything to do with that. And I thought it was a pretty good interview because Mark will call out Howard, and Howard will call out Mark. And
that's what I was looking for, because that's what happened in the last interview.
Yeah,
I didn't get a lot of that. I got a lot of question and answer.
They went back and forth a little bit,
especially at the beginning.
Yeah, in the beginning, they talked about both Howard and Robin said that Mark gonna revert back to his old ways and stuff. But he's a pretty religious guy, and Mark did say that he'll only come in if he really believes in the movie. And last time he came in with Ted, and we all know how that turned out. So, and by the way, I mean, Mark Wahlberg's a pretty smart guy. I mean, he got a piece of Ted that made over $500 million already worldwide, and he produces a bunch of different stuff. He's I really respect what he does in the entertainment industry. Puts on a lot of good shows too.
Yeah, he does. It's a really good. He's really up and coming. So another thing it reminded me of was I don't know if you remember way back the old Eddie Murphy interview, like the first Eddie Murphy interview.
Yeah.
I kept thinking of that every time I was listening to the question and answer that they were having back and forth.
Well, again, I think it was more a matter of Mark being on a tight schedule versus because I mean, Gary just came in here. I mean, he loves coming up here with Howard. I mean, they've got this respect for each other that they've had for years.
Yeah, he was just on a tight schedule today. But he listen, I give him this much credit too, man. He always stops by whenever he's got a project, mostly, except for that one time we made fun of him. But he always comes by when he has a project. And not everybody who's supposed to be a friend does. Sometimes they skip us. He usually doesn't.
No, he was heading over, I know, to GMA and doing a couple other things today. He does always come by. So, David in Maryland, you're on the wrap-up show.
Hi. The interviews are still CERN terrific and everything, but when he just is talking and you all are backing him up, it's filled with a bunch of lies. I mean, he loves AGT. Loves it. Stop complaining about it. That's not what we want to hear. You tell us he's doing what we want. What we want is the truth. Be honest. He's not honest anymore.
I can tell you. Hold on. Can I answer that? Wait
a second, Gary.
Hold on. He doesn't love it today. So today he was being honest. Maybe he'll love it tomorrow. But today he was not loving it, and he was being very honest.
He makes things up. Nobody will admit.
Dude, I was in there this morning, and John is my witness. He was not making that up.
No, he wasn't.
And, I mean, why doesn't anybody admit that Robin's a lesbian? I mean,
because
why don't you
she's
talk
not.
about the real... Oh, please.
David, that's Robin's story to tell.
But hold on. That's not even true. Robin's not a lesbian. That's the line I would use if she were. Why are you sure she is? I've been away with her. I've been to the Anne Frank house drunk with her boyfriend.
You were with Justin Bieber and her at the Anne Frank Museum?
Jesus, that's your stab at comedy, brother?
No, but I mean, come on. She's a girl lover. But we need to get back to honesty on this show, Gary.
Well, I think you want to get into is whatever you think is honesty. You want to get into your weird conspiracy theories and call them real.
No. I'm not a conspiracy person. I just want honesty.
Well, what else?
And I love you.
What else do you think David, what else do you think is missing?
I just don't think the stories are truthful. That's all. I think there's a lot of what John said. I think you say what you think the audience wants to hear. I don't think it's all honesty anymore. That's all.
When did John say that? John, what's wrong with you?
When did I say that, David?
Didn't you just say that Howard says and does what the audience wants? Didn't you just say that to the first caller?
No. Or if I did, I forgot the context of what we were talking about.
He said something about Robin being a lesbian, but not
that. No, he means the first caller.
I'm talking about that. I'm talking about the first caller.
Right.
You told the first caller that everybody's, sometimes wants to make the show what they want, but Howard's just doing what everybody wants, but he isn't anymore. I don't think
by being
he's
himself is what he was saying. By talking about what's in his life.
I said, look.
But I don't think he tells the truth.
But David, are you saying that Howard got up this morning and said, "I'm in a great mood, but just to make the show more interesting, I'm going to tell everybody that I feel like shit and I did not have fun at AGT last week"?
Maybe not this morning, but I think there is a lot of that in the show, more now than there was maybe 5-6 years ago.
Okay, point well taken. I don't agree, but you get to say what you want to say, David.
Yeah, David, thanks for calling in, and you're entitled to your opinion. But Steve's right. What I was saying was Howard simply is always himself. And sometimes what I was telling the earlier caller was, do you think Howard's coming in and saying, "Hey, AGT's been wonderful. It's a great day. That's just not who he is."
Well, I think he would come in and say that if he
felt it.
If he had a particularly great time and something great happened that was worthy of saying. But yeah, he's not going to come in and say, "Oh, great time at AGT last week." And Rob will go, "What happened?" "Well, nothing really, Rob. It's just a great time." That's not him.
Right. Moses in Lancaster, you're on the wrap-up show.
Oh, hey now.
Hey now.
Hey, I just wanted to say about Howard being in a bad mood and how it affects the show. I agree with Gary, but I actually like it. I dig it. Like I like when I like the fact that he's not in one mood every day. Like I'm sure it sucks to be an eye shot if you're an employee, because you never know how your boss is going to respond to you, but as a fan, I love it. I think it's great.
Well, I think... so you go, John.
Well, I was going to say, it humanizes him.
Right.
You know, if he came in and he did a shtick every time, eventually that would wear thin. And you want to hear Howard, good or bad mood, because he's being real about it.
Yeah, when I saw Moses' call and it says he likes it when Howard's in a bad mood, I was like, well, that would suck every day. But his point is better taken, that he likes it that Howard just has moods.
Yeah,
instead of just one mood.
Exactly. Like I read... when I read on the internet, maybe it was Friday, and crap was going around about his case being thrown out. I said to my wife right away, I was like, "Oh, he's going to be good Monday morning," because that sucks. You know, like it sucks for him, but for me as a listener, I thought that's going to be pretty entertaining to listen to.
And that was a weird thing too, because I spoke to Howard on Friday and Saturday about some business stuff, and it's I really was unsure whether to bring it up, so I just decided not to. What would you have done, John? Would you have started a conversation by, "Hey, sorry about the lawsuit"?
No.
Right. I just didn't bring it up at all.
No, I think that was the right move.
And I wanted to give him my support, but like, what is my support going to do? It's not going to change the ruling. And why bring up, it's like, what are you supposed to say? Like 6 months later, "Sorry, your mother died"? Like, you don't want to bring it up.
Yeah, that's a situation where if he brings it up, fine.
Yes.
But you're not going to be the one who prompts that conversation.
Right.
So I think you made the right choice.
What's up, guys? It's Teddy. On Tuesday's wrap-up show, we were in Studio 2, and I may have revealed something that happened between High Pitch Mike and I at a Christmas party. But a little later on, Ronnie came in to defend his grammar on Twitter, which turned out to be a really funny segment. Check it out.
High Pitch Mike confessing that he's kissed not one, but two guys here from work. One well-known, one not well-known, I think the description was. And they're both on the radio side, which eliminated Scott DePace. And there was some speculation as to who it might be. But I don't know. I mean, was this reported on, Teddy? Are you aware of this?
I think so. I could have sworn this has been on the air before.
But regardless of that, do we want to educate the crowd here? You want to let them know who one of those people actually might be?
Of course. It was me.
Yeah, well, what are you doing kissing High Pitch Mike?
I'm the less known one, though.
Oh, you are? What are you?
The more known one is Will Murray.
What are you doing making out with High Pitch Mike?
I didn't make out with him. I pecked him on the lips, very, very closed-mouthed, drunk at like 3 Christmas parties ago.
Mm-hmm.
And, it was a laugh, like as Richard would call it, a goof.
You were having a laugh?
I was having a goof. I was getting goofy. I grabbed him I slapped him hard on the cheeks and pulled him in and said, "Come here, I love you." Mwah. And that's it. And that turned into the gayest moment on the Howard Stern show.
So I don't know if it's that, but so Mike didn't come on to you in any way. This was all you were doing.
No, I mean, I knew it would literally, make his face turn red. And, it was just a moment we had. It was funny. It was a goof. The following year, the person who's lesser known tried to one-up me and kissed him longer, harder, grosser.
Oh, I didn't know this was an annual holiday party ritual.
It looked like it was turning into that. It looked like it was going down that road. But then it did. Nothing happened the last 2 years.
You're saying Will is less known than you are, Teddy? Is that what you're claiming?
Fuck you.
No, it was a ploy to get him down here.
Oh, well,
no. The like I said, the other guy nobody really knows, but he tried to one up me the next year and really gave it to him and kissed him hard and I think multiple times and all this stuff. Like I said, what I did, I grabbed him like that on the lips.
So nothing gay about it. Just
no, it's not gay.
You're taking the Richard.
Whatever.
You're taking the Richard Christie defense.
I'm taking the Will Ferrell made out with Sacha Baron Cohen with like tongue at the MTV Movie Awards, but that's not gay.
He jerked him off a little bit too. Don't like that.
Well, what do you
I
think?
never made out with Mike, high-pitched Mike. I never kissed him.
Why do you say
never
it like
kissed
that?
another
Why do
guy.
you say it like
defensive.
that?
What do you mean?
You're like angry about it. I mean,
Yeah, he accused me of kissing a guy. I didn't kiss a guy. What, are you okay with that?
It wasn't like it wasn't a sexual kiss.
Bullshit.
Oh, what?
I saw his little
Ew.
tent in his pants.
Well, that's his deal. Believe me, there was no tent in my pants.
Do you think there's some hidden gay issues with Teddy here? Do you think that deep down this is where he wants to be and what he wants to
joke now.
No, he's got way better taste than that, at least.
do? Ooh, high-pitched Mike taking the blow. But
he'd love to.
So was this a huge deal, or
No,
did it?
I think Artie, was disgusted out of his mind. I think it came up with him on the air, but
he's either disgusted or high.
Look, the point is, no, I don't know. Mike loves to just bring it up over and over and over again.
Why is that?
Well, he likes.
He beats off to it.
Yeah, it's probably in his spank bank.
Did he come back to you afterwards or down the road and say, "Hey, Teddy"?
No,
maybe
but he would joke. He would always joke like, "Oh,
But was he joking?
This Christmas
Teddy?
party, do we get to make out again?" And
Was he joking though?
Look, who cares?
He had a weird move at the Christmas party. He would wait till everybody got drunk, and then he would try and kiss them.
Really?
Yeah. Yes, that was his move. Early on. Now I don't stay at the Christmas parties long enough to find out. But early on, he would get hammered or wait till people were really drunk and then try and kiss them.
Has that always been your MO, Teddy?
What? Not me.
No, he was a
Mike. He's
victim.
talking about Mike.
I know.
No, look. Let's not. Mike's not a sexual predator by any means either. I mean, he's just. Like
I
said,
always thought it was a weird move that
No.
you'd wait till the guys get drunk and then you'd try and kiss them. I thought that was kind of.
Well, the other thing that Robin
Strange.
threw out there during this conversation was, 10% of the population is gay. So clearly there are people here who may be gay and have not come out yet or haven't gotten in touch with that side of them. But you're not one of them, Teddy.
No.
I'm just confirming that for the audience.
No, I'm good.
Well, what do we have? We have.
I like the. I'm a fan of the gash, John.
Nice to put it that way. Classy guy.
Mhm.
Two gay guys I can count.
Who are out.
Who are out.
Right.
Openly.
Remember, Mike wasn't out when we first
And
came
we have,
here.
a crew of, like 70 people?
So 7 people are gay.
Right. So Jason has to come out yet.
That's one.
Jason.
Who else?
You.
Me?
Yeah.
I'm married with a kid.
Me. Everybody.
The other kissing victim I wouldn't be surprised.
Really?
Yeah.
Ooh, we might have to talk to him. We're also going to get a visit from Ronnie Mund, who took a little flack over his mustache, but that all started from his tweet about Boston, which was very heartfelt, but said that, I think it was must of instead of must have. But maybe he was just saving space on Twitter.
No, he's an idiot.
Why do you say that?
Because I saw the tweet and it irritated me.
Why?
Like he's somehow speaking for the show, and then I just see how awful his grammar is. Because when you talk, you say, "Oh, must have been something," but if you actually know grammar, you know it's must have. It just sounds like must have, but he's retarded. He doesn't know.
Well, I don't know if that's pretty strong, but I mean, maybe Ronnie.
You think he knew how to really spell it or how it was grammatically correct?
No, but I've read his tweets, and a lot of times, you're not.
It's embarrassing. He should not write.
I don't think you're going to Ronnie's tweets for grammar. You're going for the humor in what he puts out
pictures
there.
of mediocre girls. That's the other reason.
Well, I'm not saying that, but I am. The way he words stuff and how he truncates his text.
Decent chick of the week.
Mediocre chick.
Yeah.
It's an angry wrap-up
Chick
show.
I might have sex with of the week.
But later on, Ronnie went in to talk about his Cougar Town performance, which we talked a little bit here yesterday, and said he doesn't care what people think. He doesn't care, and to me, that's always his defense mechanism when he does care what people think. And I know he went in with a good attitude, and I thought he did a very fine job considering his skill set. But I think that he wants to parlay that into something more, maybe get asked back to Cougar Town. And let's face it, almost 2 million people saw him do that episode, and good for him. But when he says, I don't care, he cares.
He cares a lot, yeah. He's doing his act, that whole Ronnie thing that's hilarious.
Ronnie also accused Fred of, and he said, Howard's only reading the bad ones. He's not reading the good ones regarding the feed. Do you think that that's possible, that Fred perhaps tucked away the good Ronnie emails about his Cougar Town performance, or do you think Ronnie?
Did you watch it? Did you see it?
Yeah, I saw it.
And what do you think? Were we hiding all the glowing reviews?
I think Ronnie might have been a little delusional there. I don't think Fred was hiding emails at all. Now, Howard can also dwell on negative stuff instead of positive stuff to get a rise out of Ronnie. That's part of his goal sometimes.
That's true.
So I want to know from Ronnie when he gets here if he thought he did a good job, number one. And number two, if all the mustache comments get to him. The Yosemite Sam, the Lorax picture was up there for a while today. I wonder if he's keeping the mustache because out of just pure defiance, or he
I was
really
surprised he
thinks
didn't know
good.
what a Lorax was. I mean, he is a grandfather, He's got lots of grandkids, so...
He speaks from the trees.
Don't they watch these shows?
I guess, but I wonder if that's like sort of become Ronnie's trademark now, and he won't shave it because he's known for that. You know what I mean?
Mustaches and angry, ranting, yelling.
James, you're on the wrap-up show.
Nah, man, I just want to know why Will's so fucking angry today, bro. He seems like, first of all, the whole gay issue, I think Will is the biggest closet queen. I don't give a fuck if he's married or he's got a kid or not. But the thing also with Ronnie's text, like, who fucking critiques someone's grammar when they're texting?
Yeah.
I do.
Why all the anger for Ronnie?
I don't have the anger. I just think it's embarrassing when you write shit on Twitter and you literally don't know how to, speak the English language.
Yeah, but like you brought up must have instead of must have. But must have is, that's it's an abbreviation.
No,
it's apostrophe VE. Yeah,
it was must of. Must of. That's what was written.
Must of. Oh,
I didn't know that it was OF. But even that, it's just like kind of. That's
it's
just
stupid.
It's stupid. It's just an abbreviation. But
no, it's not. You can just always say everything's lazy, who cares? But at some point, have a little fucking pride in the English language.
It's not an abbreviation. It's a misinterpretation. It's a huge difference. Ronnie doesn't know. If Ronnie walked in here and said, "Oh, I'm abbreviating must have," but he doesn't know he is. He thinks that's the word.
So does Richard Christie's grammar drive you crazy?
Why? Is this really bad or something?
It's poor.
Serious. I don't know. I've never really noticed him.
Okay. Yeah, it seems like Ronnie gets under your skin for some reason.
No, it's not. Well, yeah, I mean, I don't know. He had all these kind of hero tweets today that was like, it was just bothering me for some reason.
All right.
We feel for you, Boston.
All right.
What?
Let's take a break.
What do you mean all his hero tweets? I put one tweet out.
No, it was like 4 of them.
Oh, bullshit, man. Worry about your own fucking
We can
Twitter
count them if
account.
you want. I think it was 4.
Don't worry about mine. It wasn't for me. You wouldn't have
Go
your
find a
Twitter
dictionary,
followers.
you dope.
Remember
For
who got
you?
your-
Hold on.
Yeah.
How do you
Remember
have
who
Twitter
got-
followers?
Remember who got all your
Howard.
followers at the beginning?
Dude, you are no hero around here. Everyone has their Twitter
Oh, you're
followers
such
because
a
of Howard.
bullshit artist, Will.
You
You know
are not
that?
giving anybody their Twitter
Yeah,
followers.
Oh, do me a favor, man. Could you tweet out my shit when you get it? Blah, blah, blah. I just
When
opened
have
a
I
new
ever
account.
said that?
When you opened your account, you
No, I
fucking
didn't.
liar.
No, I
You're
didn't.
so full of shit.
So you're saying you tweeted multiple times about Boston or once?
I never said that.
So
when did
tell
I
me.
say that?
Tell me.
I put one tweet out about it.
Now, I guess Will and Howard picked up on it because you said must have instead of must have.
whatever, dude.
Do you
Come on, give me
consider
a break.
when you're tweeting? Do you consider your grammar, or do you just throw up whatever is
I
on
throw
your
up
mind?
whatever I feel like throwing up. Okay. Literally. And if I got to throw up, I'll throw up.
Now, Will was saying that it's you representing the show, so for you using poor grammar,
Oh,
it's
stop it, will you please?
You don't think there's a point there?
Well, say what's on your mind, because you're just.
I'm saying it.
But
It's ridiculous.
But why?
What? Because I made a grammar mistake, so I shouldn't tweet anymore because it's part of the show. We're going to go down that road now too. I can't talk about that.
Nobody's saying you shouldn't tweet. It's just saying that you're making grammatical errors, and I don't even think anybody's saying that you should be more educated. I think just pointing it out because we all goof on each other. I don't think anybody expects you to go.
I don't really
read
care, Gary. It
something-
doesn't bother me. They can make
I know
fun
it
of me. I
doesn't.
don't give a shit.
Well, the thing that seemed to
At least I do my own tweets, unlike other people.
Well, what are you saying? Some people have like
There's people that do tweets for people.
Celebrities, not nobody here.
Yeah. No, but I'm just saying.
Have you been approached by that? Like, if people offered to do your tweets?
No.
Have you been approached by anybody to for any sort of an endorsement deal? Like, if you tweet this, I'll pay you?
Kind of, yeah.
And you turned it down?
Yeah, I didn't want to do it.
Why?
I can't talk about it.
Okay. The thing that you said, this doesn't bother you, but the thing that did seem to get under your skin today was you said Howard was reading only the negative emails about your Cougar Town appearance. And you said, do you think Fred is editing out the positive ones that come in?
Editing them out. They just didn't read them because there was like 20-1 on Twitter about them.
What do you mean? You mean most people supported you?
Yeah, exactly. So you can't tell me in the emails there wasn't one positive email.
Well, that's what Fred and Howard were saying.
Fine, that's what they say, okay? That's not what I'm saying.
How important is Twitter to you?
Oh, here we go. You know, we've gone through this already.
I know, but things have
Right now,
changed.
it's very important to me, okay?
You take pride in your tweeting?
It's very important to me.
Clearly not.
No,
it's very important to me.
Because
I need social media now a lot.
Is that sarcasm? It's very hard to tell with you.
No, I'm being honest.
So you'll close down your Twitter today?
No, I need social media. I'm using it.
Oh.
Okay.
Do you think you did a good job on Cougar Town?
It's okay.
What do you
It was
mean?
all right to play being a drag queen, yeah. Thought it was awesome.
When you saw it back, were you proud of what you did, or were you like critiquing yourself? Because some people can't watch themselves on TV.
I didn't want to watch it, to be honest with you, but I did. I watched it like 3 days later.
Why didn't you want to watch it?
First of all, I was too busy, number one. And number two, I'm not crazy about watching myself on TV.
Even dressed in drag like you were? Because, I mean, for some of the episode you were. The other part you weren't. You were you.
Yeah, well, I was me. Kind of.
Holding that dog.
Right. I had the dog all day.
And you also took flack for your mustache. Again.
What'd you call it again? That whole thing? What do you call it?
My centerpiece?
Centerpiece. I like that.
Your centerpiece.
My
I
centerpiece.
I apologize.
Not a centipede.
But you've heard it before, the Yosemite Sam, the Lorax,
Yeah, I've
all
heard
those.
it all. I've seen it in pictures. I've seen it all, dude.
Have you
Colonel Mustard, Colonel Liz, Colonel Sanders.
But have you reached the point where you're going to keep it because so many people
No,
are
I
ragging
like
on?
it. I'm leaving it. I got a lot of compliments over the weekend about it.
Running
from girls.
Have I ever known
Just
you?
like his acting.
Right.
Have I ever known you
Exactly,
without a
Will.
mustache? Have you?
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of what you look like without a mustache.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember when it was.
Was it a
but-
short time?
Yeah, when's the last
Yeah,
time?
it was a real short time. I hated it.
I don't remember it.
Yeah. it
You've
was a
been
short
clean since I've known you in the last 12 years at one point. I don't think you had a mustache.
What's that?
I think at one point when, since I've been here, you didn't have a mustache.
Yeah, I did.
No, I don't think the whole time.
No, not the whole time. For a very short period, I cut it off. I think everything.
Why? Just
because
to
I was looking. I forgot what these I saw some pictures the other day.
You wanted to look younger, like 60.
I saw some pictures the other day, and it was from K-Rock.
Is the centerpiece thing or just the whole facial hair thing? Is it thought out, or is it something like as you start growing it, you're like, this?
No, it
let me
was-
try this. Let me try that. Or
it
did
was
you go
thought
for
out
this?
because I'll show you my driver's license picture. It's got the same picture from 12 years ago. Except I had a mullet then.
Well, that completes the set. You have the center. You have the
But
centerpiece.
I didn't have the
and the mullet.
centerpiece then. I only had the mustache, without the centerpiece.
But you do. I mean, you take care of yourself. You next to Sal, I think you spend the most time getting yourself ready in the morning, right?
He's a groomer.
No, I don't.
I mean that's a compliment. You're well put together.
I don't do it in the morning, man. I do it the night before or whatever, and
Right, you do it.
Yeah.
Some people don't do it at all. There's some people here that. Well, how many times a month do you work on that beard?
Twice, and I try and shave it down just so
Right, like
it's not a total embarrassment.
Like Will's got a beard, but it's like it's not a
It's a mess.
nightly occurrence.
No,
Ronnie, you think that Will picks on you or takes out some anger on you for
yeah,
some
well,
reason?
we both do to each other, so it's pretty equal.
Yeah,
That's your thing.
Yeah, but we get along.
Do you? Because
I don't-
there seems to
oh,
be
please.
some.
I love Ronnie.
You love him?
Just
No,
take a little
Will's
pride in the
great.
tweeting. You know what I mean? He's a big tweeter. He's got a lot of he's got a lot of
Well,
followers.
yeah, thanks to me, you got a lot of new followers.
Jay in Pittsburgh. You're on the wrap-up show.
Well, remember when you said to me one morning when I came in, "Gee, Ronnie, I just opened up an account. Maybe could you help me get some tweets?
Did you
followers?
Did you make a plea to Ronnie for Twitter followers?
And what happened that morning? Come on, Will, be honest.
I got like 6 new followers,
he's
dude. It was
such a li-
awesome.
He's such a liar, man. He really is lying.
Was Ronnie the first person you thought of going to help build your Twitter following?
Come on, tell the truth for once.
I don't remember the history of my Twitter.
Yeah, he's so full of shit.
I don't.
Such a lie.
I remember that you tweeted, you said, hey, follow me, and I said, oh, thank you. That was very nice of you, Ronnie.
Who cares more about Twitter, Ronnie or JD?
I don't know. They're equally sad.
But they're equally different.
How so?
JD cares about Twitter for getting laid, and Ronnie cares about Twitter for ego.
I think there's some ego with JD, too. He prides himself on what he does on Twitter. You agree?
Yeah, I do.
You think you care more or JD cares more?
I use Twitter a lot now, man. I need it. I have a
heroin addict.
I actually have a social media person now, so. You know.
What is that? What? What does a social media person
Handles
do?
all my social media, puts stuff out for me when I can't do it.
How do they do that if you're tweeting yourself? You said nobody tweets for you.
Well, when I'm doing certain things, I can't do it.
And how much are you paying Stephanie for that?
She's allowed to live in my house.
Right, room and board.
But she's your social media person.
Yeah, Stephanie is. Stephanie does certain things now with us certain people. That she does live things for us on Facebook and Twitter.
Is it hard mixing work with fun with Stephanie? Like sometimes.
No, she's great, man. She does a great job. She's been really doing an awesome job.
Because I'm not kidding. A lot of
she's into computers.
Yeah,
and she's into all that kind of stuff. And she could build a computer from scratch.
Wow. Really?
Yeah.
Her specialties are retweets and fingers in the ass.
Well, hey, it works.
On Wednesday's wrap-up show, we started with a conversation about Beth dropping by and saying hi to Howard, and she revealed who she would bang on the staff and who the least likely person was. And that led to a conversation with JD, and we talked about JD, what he's up to, and if there are any kids or family in his future. Good stuff. Check it out.
Benji Brock joining us, and JD stopped by. Always happy to see him here.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Teddy, did we not give JD a compliment before he came in the room?
Yeah, I was waiting. You were here actually too late, in fact. I thought I was waiting for you to come running down. I'm sorry. I was...
No need to apologize. We're happy to have you now.
now John Hines being nice. Off there, he's a much different John Hines.
What does that mean?
Nothing. Go ahead.
Beth came by this morning, and she plugged her new show, but she also said Howard is talking. She's worried about the L.A. trip because Howard's almost talking himself into being sick. Have you seen this before, Gary?
Many times.
And what do you do? What do you say?
No, you stand back. You can't make him feel any better. You can't tell him what to do. You can't really suggest stuff. I'm surprised he did the Zycam thing because I've suggested things in the past. He's like, it doesn't work because he doesn't like to try outside stuff. But Robin sort of hit it on the head. When he's feeling pressured or overworked, he gets himself sick. I can point to almost every time we've ever done a remote broadcast. He's sick right before it, and the first 10 minutes of it is awful. And then I'm always amazed by how sick he is to start a broadcast and how unsick he gets as the broadcast goes on.
Well, he's spoken before
about. Everyone's like saying it's in his head. It's in his, whatever the cause is. He seems so sick.
Yes.
today.
Yeah, he definitely did. What I was going to say though is that he's lost his voice before. He's told that story about before doing NBC before. So it's happened before, and your mind can play games with you.
I think it's more than just mind games though.
I agree. There's something going around here too.
But Howard doesn't think. That's the whole thing. Maybe he's changed his school of thought. He doesn't think that. He thinks that getting sick is in your mind. That if you're healthy, that you can fight off germs. He used to be like, well, and by the way, whenever he got sick, someone got him sick.
Right.
Because, that's everyone.
No, but he had a specific. He could usually point to like, it could have been like you were sniffling.
I know.
Two weeks ago.
I've never would admit to a cold around here.
Right.
You never, especially before Howard gets a cold.
Oh, because you're public enemy number one.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
For weeks.
But I do find it interesting that there's always somebody to blame for his illness when that happens, and that you just try to, that's why if I'm sick, on the rare instance that I'm sick, I don't even go in the studio. I'll send somebody else in.
Were you flattered that you won the Who Would My Wife Bang game with Beth?
And that's a perfect word. I was flattered. I have no illusions that Beth wants to bang me. I said I was more flattered when she said somebody I really like and somebody I really respect. That was much more
pull her
flattered.
aside and talk to her privately at all afterwards?
I did not pull her aside.
Was Howard feeling weird after the segment was over and you were talking to Beth a little bit?
He's just goofy. He knows. She made it really clear right up front. what she really said was, listen, I don't want to really sleep with anybody in your staff, but you put a gun to my head, and here's who I pick. But I still appreciate it.
Any surprise at who she picked as the least likely to?
I was a little surprised. I forgot that Sal was a dick to her.
Really?
Yeah, I sort of forgot.
So who did you think she would have picked?
I was thinking she might go with Benji. Just because he seems to be the go-to guy, not because I have anything against Benji.
Oh.
Were you thinking that you'd be that guy, Benji?
I thought it was possible. It's you know what? I thought it was.
Did you think it was possible that you could be the other guy?
Yeah.
That's what's great about guys. I know exactly what you mean. I thought I could be either guy.
How about you, JD? Were you in contention for either spot? Did you think when Beth, I know you talked to Beth a little bit. And...
I mean, a little bit. I thought I might be the one, she wouldn't want, just because we haven't had many conversations or anything.
Actually, I could have seen, thinking about it now, I could have really seen Beth picking JD as the one to sleep with.
Why?
Because
she I think
she knows what I got going on.
Yeah, she knows what he has going on.
Well, at the end of the show
and
today,
I think she would love. I
I
think it's just as a choice. It's really hard to say how she's judging, how a woman's judging, but I think she would like to make him feel good.
Yeah. By the way, sometimes I forget why I make these decisions. I know that why I thought she might pick you, because we all went out to dinner one night, and Benji was.
She said she'd pick him.
No, and Benji was.
we all ended up in bed.
No, why she would pick Benji is the worst one, because we all went out to dinner one night, and Benji was telling some really crazy, explicit sex stories, and that's where I'll leave it. But I think that every woman at the table was really grossed out.
I was too.
What did you think of that either-or game that they said they play all the time at night?
You never play that game?
I have, but yeah.
Not every night. I mean, probably going through a phase, but that's a fun game.
I'm afraid I was one of the people brought up in the vile category.
Yeah, I was trying to figure out who was the person.
Yeah, I thought that could be me too. I
think I know who it is, by the way.
Oh, you do know who it is?
I think I do.
Do we all know him?
She sort of insinuated it.
No, would the audience know him?
Let's not say. Well, we won't say who it is.
I don't know if the audience would know him, and it's just a guess in my head.
I think your guess is correct. I'm reading your mind, Gary. I think your guess is correct. But you thought that you were the vile guy that they were talking about?
I thought it could be one of them, but that's just me and myself.
Does his name have syllables in it?
Yes. Matt, you're on the wrap-up show.
No, it's Tom Jones.
Hey, now.
Oh, the singer.
I don't mean to pile on JD. I just called in Howard, but JD, I think you're doing better with girls than you lead on. Because, I was seeing the girls that were talking to you and would have done anything with you. I think you're fucking constantly, and you're just not telling anyone.
Well, I mean, listen, there is more. There might be more interest that I let on. Because I do talk to the girls here and there. But I'm certainly not really doing a lot of fucking actual, so I'll tell you.
I got a question for you. I mean, you're not, I don't think you're in the weird zone yet at all, but do you ever start to think that you might never find a stable relationship, might not ever get married?
No.
So you still think there's someone out there for you?
Do you want to get married?
I think there is too, but I don't know if you want to. That's the thing.
It's just not something on my mind at this moment. I'm barely... I have here and there moments where, it's like, man, I wish I had a girlfriend.
Have you considered the priesthood?
Huh? What? But
why do you wish you had a girlfriend? Like, what do you think that would bring you?
No, I'm just saying, it's not here. I like my freedom as it is now, but sometimes, I'm watching something and it'd be nice to be watching something with someone else. Being able to go out and do something. Stuff like that.
How old are you again? You're 33. 33.
Yeah.
So when do you think how old do you think you get to be if, what I call the weird zone, the Ganges zone? But how old do you think you have to be if you haven't been in a relationship and have nothing on the horizon? When does it get strange? At what age?
It'll get strange maybe once this contract runs out, because then I don't know what's going to happen after this show. I don't know where I'll be.
You'd still be 35.
Yeah, but I don't know if I'll have the... I don't know if the show ends and I move on doing something else. I don't know what that something else necessarily would be, and I don't know if I would have that public, whatever public knownness that I have.
So do you think the show is enabling you in a sense that you can sort of have whatever freedom you want, that you don't have to settle down because of your minor celebrity?
No, I don't know about enabling. It's just it allows. It gets more girls to know who I am, and
So do you think if you
because without this, I don't know where I would be right now with girls.
If you were a writer or a segment producer on, say, a Lifetime TV show, do you think you'd have more of a reason to try and settle down?
Maybe. I mean, I don't know because I'm not in that position. I don't know what the deal. What
are you looking into, like a Lifetime project?
Yeah, could they hire a worse person than JD for their channel?
You and
I can write for Lifetime.
I actually thought of that because I was in the studio the other day. Brooke Shields was here promoting Army Wives, which I think is on Lifetime.
Yeah,
or one of the
getting
channels.
into the married woman's mind.
I could try that.
Gary, you don't feel that JD has entered the Ganges zone, do you?
No, but the one thing that does worry me about him is that as long as I've known him, he's never had a relationship. That's the only
you know what? That's what worries me too.
That's the only part of it that's weird. Being 33 and not
what about
married.
That fifth grade, that Asian girl.
But if you look at what JD does and his schedule and both,
we've all had the schedule. But the thing is, it's one thing to not have.
But he's coming in at different hours that we are. I mean, I guess you can make it work, but I think it's very difficult for him to do that.
But he's never even been close since I've known him. He's never even been close to anything that you would call.
There have been a couple of times you might not know about it, but there have been a couple.
Well,
but they were very short and whatever.
Do you have any desire? Have you thought of it like I want kids or I don't want kids?
It's not something I think about right now.
At all? Like you don't?
So great if you adopted a kid.
No,
at some time in your life,
if you saw, I can barely take care of myself. I can't take care of a kid.
At some time in your life, though, you don't see yourself having a kid. Do you want to have a kid?
Maybe.
Be a proud dad. You don't see it.
I don't see it at the moment. No.
Do you think you'd feel bad if you don't have one?
I don't know. No. I don't know.
I have a story, Howard, if you care.
Yeah, about him?
Yeah. We were doing live from Grammys Week. This is years ago. He must have been 17 or 18 years old. We were at the Nico Hotel.
Right.
So I go out to a Grammys party. I'm fucking hammered. It's 3:30 in the morning.
Right.
So I go to put my fucking key in the door, and the door next to me opens, and it's him and like 20 of his friends. And in my recollection, he was wearing a basketball jersey. I think it was like a Michael Jordan jersey and everything. And I remember, he was just Marky Mark at the time.
Right.
And I looked at him and I go, it's like 3:30. I go, dude, you just going out now? And he goes, yo, I got to go check out the girlies. And he made the fucking fingers and everything.
I don't know if this is in the notes, but
somewhere somebody's sick of fucking.
Because his brother's in the news right now, because the new kids on the block.
Yeah.
I think he said that the first woman he had sex with, a lot of the brothers had sex with.
Donnie Wahlberg, you're talking about?
The one that's in the new kids on the block. I don't think that's in your notes because I think I just read it. I didn't remember. Yeah.
Who did he have sex with?
So like
said all the brothers had
sex with the same girl in the neighborhood or something.
In the what? On the internet?
In the
neighborhood.
All the brothers. I was reading about Donnie Wahlberg. I just couldn't remember if I read it here or somewhere else.
He's saying all the Wahlberg brothers had sex with the same chick.
Right.
Like whoever he lost it to.
Donnie, you gotta fuck her. She's hot. She's hot.
Hot.
Mark Wahlberg is in a new movie called Pain and Gain, opening up Friday, April. Hey, look at you. Big movie star.
What happened to his hand?
What happened to your hand?
Miami.
You what?
I got bit by something horrible in Miami.
Are you serious?
Yeah, at the premiere party.
You look miserable.
Oh, I'm down and out. But
Me
I'm okay.
too.
I'll be back.
What the hell? Seriously?
It looked like it took your hand off. What the heck happened?
This is just ice.
What
Ice
happened?
ice
Tell me what happened. And you're looking super pumped up, dude.
I'm getting
You
you
got
pumped up
guns,
next.
yeah.
So I sat down at the party for the premiere, and I put my hand on the table, and something stung the crap out of me. And
outdoor party in Miami?
Outdoor party in Miami, and there was a stinger about that long in my hand. And the next day, my pinky ballooned up. And then I saw a doctor, and he prescribed some antibiotics. And then the next day, it really ballooned, my whole hand, and the swelling kept going. So he said he drew a line around the swelling. He said if it goes any further, you got to go to the emergency room and all this nonsense. So
have you been to an emergency room?
No, it actually went down. I've been icing it like crazy and taking these horrible antibiotics.
You got to take an antihistamine and make that thing go down.
You know what? Everybody had a remedy. They had these
did.
creams. I was talking to people from the Hollywood Foreign Press, and they had this cream from Germany that's supposed to make the swelling go down. And I took some Benadryl. And
But Benadryl should have done it.
Isn't life annoying?
It is.
It fucking
Well,
is.
what would
And
you
I was supposed to
prefer?
play golf yesterday, and it was affecting my golf game.
And you know what else? You've got it good. And it's still annoying. Imagine, if you didn't have it so good. If you were still stuck back in your old town with your old friends and,
and had the life that you were supposed to have.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I'm not going to complain.
Yeah.
I'm blessed.
You're a good man.
How are you, buddy?
Hey, I'm pretty good. What's
Good to see
happening?
you.
So, new movie, huh?
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah?
It's good. That's why I came here.
Let me understand
So it
what's
doesn't
going
suck.
on. The movie is you and The Rock.
Uh-huh.
Can you believe
I've
this guy?
seen the previews for this. I'm interested in this.
I never thought The Rock's career would amount to much, but the dude is like on fire, right?
He's having a great run, and more importantly, he's fantastic in this movie.
And the movie
He's
is
like you've never seen him.
It's based on a true story, right? It's
based on a true story of these outrageous bodybuilders down in Miami that were trying to pursue the American dream and went about it the wrong way, and they went about taking advantage of this guy, and it just went south. And instead of them just kind of walking away, they just always thought they could fix it. They really felt like they were invincible. Steroids is a bad thing.
So it's two bodybuilders. They're sort of loserish.
Three
of them.
Anthony Mackie as well.
Okay, and in order to play this role, it's you got to beef up, right?
Yeah.
Because you're a bodybuilder.
Yep.
And these bodybuilders all take juice. They all take steroids.
Yes.
And they get crazy, and then they go on a robbery spree and all kinds, and take advantage of people.
Yeah.
So how much muscle did you put on for this? Because you
I
look
put
like
on
you're
over 40 pounds. But what happened was I'm usually like 185, 90. This is where I'm normally at right now.
Right.
But I had to get down to 165. Well, I just got as light as I could. I got to 165 for Broken City.
Right.
And then I got up to all the way up to 212 for this movie.
Now, how do you gain 40 pounds of muscle without getting jacked up on juice anyway?
By eating a lot. I was eating 10 to 12 meals a day, and I was taking a lot of mass gainer. I was actually developing my line of protein powders and supplements that we talked about last time I was here.
But how do you not get fat? Like, how do you not get a roll around your stomach?
Well,
if you're doing that?
I got thick all around. I wasn't ripped.
Right.
But, bodybuilders, what they do is they'll work out, and then they'll try to get as big as possible, and then if they're going to do a show, then they'll start, losing
Chiseling.
water weight and cutting up. Exactly.
Are you the producer of this movie?
I am not.
You are not. You're hired help, right?
Yep. Actor for hire.
Actor for hire. Who's the director?
Michael Bay.
And Michael Bay directs you. Can he at this point tell you what to do, or are you like, hey, douchebag, I've made enough movies now, you can't tell me anything?
You know what? Michael's a fantastic guy and a fantastic director, and he had a real great take on the part, but he also let me bring a lot to the part. Now, we're playing real guys, but they're not that well known that, people know exactly what they look like, how they talk, all that. So I was able to bring my own thing to the character.
And you chose an unusual voice for your character, and you got shit from who? From Michael Bay or from the other fellow actors? They were saying that your voice was too weird for the part?
No, I was trying all kinds of different accents. When we first take this guy, I had been training him for a while, so I wanted to disguise my voice.
Right.
And so I was trying all these different voices. At one time I was talking like this, and the other time, and then I said, okay, let me do a Spanish accent. It's Miami,
Right.
So I started to talk like this, and I was talking, and they didn't know I was doing an accent.
I see.
Until we started shooting the scene.
What is the voice you settled on for this character?
The one that talk like this.
So through the movie you're done.
I was talking like this. Not the whole movie, only when I take this guy.
Right.
And then he realized, when he discovers that it's me, not because of my voice, but because of something else that he found very annoying about me when I was training him in the gym.
Right.
So then all bets are off. When he knows who we are, then it gets ugly, and I decide, you know what, we're still going to go through with this. We're still going to get away with it. And I just start making one poor decision after another. You know, I'm the kind of ringleader of this crew.
I see.
And they do whatever I tell them to do.
And when you the last time you were here, I think you were promoting Ted.
Ted,
Yes.
I was just going to say,
I told
we
you, I
haven't
come
seen
when the
you
good
since
ones are
then.
coming out.
Yeah.
And Ted was great.
I come in
Congratulations.
to promote the hits.
Yeah, Ted was a great movie. I loved it. I didn't know if you were full of shit or not. You know, everyone comes in and
You
tells me
gotta,
the movie's great.
right, of course.
Exactly.
Now, when you were on the Academy Awards, you walk out with Ted, and this looked to me like a fun moment. You know, Seth MacFarlane was the host. He was the director of Ted. And you walk out. Someone told me that it took 6 months to record 1 minute of Ted walking out on the Academy Awards with you.
No,
is that correct?
No. We filmed it like a month before.
Right.
But they had already had the technology down after making the movie.
Oh.
But no, we just filmed it a month before because I was working and Seth obviously was doing a bunch of stuff. But it took a couple of hours. We'd film it. Seth would do the lines, the Ted lines, and I would do my lines.
Would you say that this is something you would never do again because it's tedious to work in a cartoon type character, right? It's difficult.
It was, but it was also a lot of fun. Seth makes it a lot of fun. He's a very cool guy to be around. And
is there a sequel coming up?
Oh yeah.
Oh, there is.
It's the largest grossing R-rated movie worldwide ever.
How much money did it gross?
It's $550 already.
$550 million.
Yes.
You realize that's $500 million?
A little bit more than $500 million, yes.
Was there merchandising, or because the movie was R-rated, parents are hesitant?
Oh, yeah, the bear. They sell the actual bear. So you have the rated R version or the PG-13 version of the bear, and you squeeze the hand, and it says all kinds of crazy shit.
So $550 million. Did you see action on this? Did you get a piece of the back end?
I'm very fortunate.
You did?
I'm very fortunate on this
one. Now, I read you were worth $150 million. I would think you might even be worth more now with Ted and everything else. Is that accurate in terms of your net worth?
I don't know.
You know what you're worth.
No, I don't. What do you pay attention to stuff like that?
I pay attention to what you're making, sure.
Really?
Absolutely, I do. But let me understand something, Mark. When a movie that comes out...
And I'm paying attention to what's going on with you.
Yeah, right. Everyone's paying attention to somebody else.
Can we refile for those stock options? Why don't I get any stock options?
I don't know. But do you invest money in stock? Is that something you do, personally?
No, I get my money, I buy a bunch of weed, and I flip it, and I put it back in the street.
You stopped smoking weed, though, right?
Absolutely.
You stopped because of your kids?
Yes.
You stopped in 2011, you stopped smoking weed?
No, more than that. In August, it'll be 5 years.
And it's because your daughter said to you, gee, she smelled weed somewhere and said, gee, Daddy sometimes smells like that.
No, she smelled a skunk.
Right.
She was driving out in Thousand Oaks, and they were just driving, and it smelled like a skunk, right? And she said, Mommy, what's that smell? And she goes, it's a skunk. And she goes, oh, Daddy smells like that sometimes.
And that registered for you?
Absolutely.
And you stopped smoking weed altogether?
Completely.
And you love weed?
I liked it.
When you were doing Ted, and because the movie had so much to do with weed, did you ever sit there and go, oh, I just would love to smoke a joint right now?
No, because when I'm done, I'm done.
That's it?
Yeah.
It's over.
But I had to smoke the fake weed once, and that was awful.
Yeah. Do you find this unbelievable in terms of where you grew up and how you were raised and sort of your whole background? And now look at you. You're a religious man. You have kids. You don't smoke weed. Do you drink still?
I drink some wine here and there, yes.
Here and there, that's it.
Yeah.
Do you ever think you'll revert?
You're going to revert.
Yeah, that one of these days something will happen and
you're gonna
boom,
crack.
You'll be back.
Wow,
Mark, you're gonna crack.
Well, at least I know you're praying for me not to, Robin. Thank you.
I am.
Oh, you're an angel.
Are you still going to church every morning?
Yeah, well, I didn't go today. I went yesterday. Went to St. Patrick's, but I just said my prayers. I got my prayer book and stuff, so I did that this morning.
Man, that's a whole different guy. Crazy.
Boring, but that's the only way I can...
This is because of your wife, Rhea, right? Because she's very religious.
My wife, my kids. I'm so blessed and fortunate. I don't want to do anything to mess it up.
And no side pussy whatsoever.
Absolutely not.
Look at you. Crazy? Oh, not with that hand.
No.
That can do anything.
Nothing to do with that.
And what are you? Were you following the new pope? Were you happy with the selection of the new pope?
So far, so good.
So far, so good.
Yeah.
And things seem. Does the church bother you with what's going on in terms of these boys and covering up?
I don't. I'm glad that that's happening. They can clean up the church, But I focus my faith is not based on the church as so much the good Lord Jesus Christ.
Look at you.
Who was also Jewish, by the way.
That's true. I read that somewhere. That's right. Why do you tell me that?
Jews for Jesus.
Right.
Yeah.
That's
L'chaim.
ridiculous, that whole Jews for Jesus thing, right?
Why?
How can you be Jewish and be for Jesus?
Well, Jesus was Jewish.
Well,
so it
I don't
makes
know.
sense.
Listen to me.
Yes,
Never
sir.
mind that. So getting back to your whole life, Mark.
Okay.
All right.
You find it
Tell me,
fascinating or deathly boring?
what, about your religion?
My life.
No. I'm actually interested in it. Did you just sign up to do the next Transformers movie?
Yes.
Okay. Shia LaBeouf is out?
Yes.
And why did he walk away from the franchise, or did they just...
I don't know. I have no
You
idea.
don't ask?
I just, no. Michael and I worked together on Pain and Gain. We had a great experience, and then he was like, you want to make another movie? And I said, absolutely.
And how many movies are you slated? It seems to me you've got a ton of movies, not only this new one that's just out, but it seems like you're lined up for the next, 5 years worth of movies. Am I correct?
Well, I've been developing a lot of stuff. I got Two Guns with me and Denzel Washington coming out in August, which is
Look at
also
you.
fantastic.
And you shot that already?
Yep. And then I made 4 movies last year. And I went from, all of them had very difficult, different physical demands. So I had to go to 165, to 212, down to 175. Then I went to SEAL training to play Marcus Luttrell in Lone Survivor. And no movie
How
was
hard
more
is
than
SEAL
30 days
training?
apart. Oh, it's not easy.
When you say you do SEAL training, you actually...
We didn't do the actual BUD/S training, but we trained with actual SEALs to prepare to look like real SEALs for the movie.
How do you not get run down running this whole empire? You've got TV shows you produce. Seriously, how do you...
See, this is what I was talking about you
I'm
with
run
this
down.
morning, Howard.
I'm run
you
down.
complain.
I was tired by
Look
the
at
end
Mark.
of it.
You were, right?
We finished the day before Thanksgiving. I didn't do anything for a month other than just stuff my face and drank a lot of wine when I was home. And then I decided, you know what, I started feeling really sluggish and stuff, so I started exercising again.
And how are you home at all? I mean, it seems to me you've got to be living 2 lives. I mean, if you're making 4 movies a year, you can't... when do you see your
I wouldn't
wife?
normally make 4 movies a year. It's just
Right.
these movies kind of came together at the same time,
And
and
you
they're all
can't
movies
say
that I
no?
wanted to do. No,
Right.
like Two Guns we had been developing for a while, putting that together. Lone Survivor was something which I also produced. So we were working on that for a while.
Does your wife say to you, listen, Mark, if we're going to have a marriage, you can't do 4 movies a year. I need to see
Yeah, I won't
you.
make a habit of doing that anyway. But, you know, my family came down to Florida when I was doing Pain and Gain for 3.5 weeks, almost 4 weeks. She's
Right.
from Florida.
Oh.
They would come visit in New Mexico when I was shooting. I would go home on the weekends and stuff like that. But
Right.
it's hard. It's very difficult.
Your wife's a knockout, man.
She's a beautiful woman, yes.
I would definitely have sex with her. I mean, there's no question. And you know,
Isn't
I would
that nice,
definitely
Mark?
let you if I wasn't married to her.
Yeah, right?
Really?
You know, that's an interesting point about you. When you were growing up, I think one of your brothers said there were girls in the neighborhood you all banged. Like, in other words, you and your brothers shared these women, right? You were never possessive about women. Is that correct?
I'm possessive about my wife.
No, that I understand.
Yeah,
But
no,
back in the day...
you know, people are asking me because in the movie I have this Russian girlfriend who's a stripper, and I just decide, you know what, she's annoying me. I give her to Dwayne. Right, to his character. And so somebody asked me, and I said, I'm probably responsible for making at least 30, 40 guys in my neighborhood lose their virginity.
Yeah, that's an unusual thing. You were so good looking, I guess. Like, for me, I would never want any of my friends to share a girl I got, because in the rare opportunity I had a woman, oh, who's going to share her? I wanted to hold on to her. You know, I lost enough women as it was. But yet you were so inundated with women that you would even say to your brothers, here, bang this woman. She's terrific.
But I wouldn't. But I probably wouldn't go back there after.
No, I understand.
It's a handoff.
It's a handoff. God, what a life.
But you didn't have a problem with it. You didn't sit there and say, that's my woman.
No.
How can you date her?
No.
And when you say to a woman, hey, do my buddy, they would just do what you said, right?
Oh, hook it up. Hook it up.
Wow. What a life.
We had a little, you know, but these were, it's overrated.
Overrated?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Have a
He
face
gave
like
it
mine
all up.
and see if it's overrated.
He did give it all up, Howard.
You did give it all up. You really did. Is it a struggle? Seriously. I know you love your wife. I know you love your family and your kids, but it's still a struggle not to see the girlies, right?
No, you know what? I've actually just all around, I'm really embracing getting older.
Are you?
And getting more mature.
How old are you now?
I'll be 42 in June.
Does it scare you as a leading man to get older? Because, you know, at some point, you know, you're hired because you are a good-looking, rugged guy.
No, you know what? I look at the guys like Jack Nicholson and Robert Duvall, guys that I've admired that have amazing careers, and hopefully I can continue to work when I want and not have to work all the time, but work when I want and work with really talented people. But, you know, I'm playing a father in Transformers, or a teenage daughter.
Oh, is that right?
And I haven't really done that. I did that once with Lovely Bones, but I'm still kind of playing a physical guy in the movie.
Lovely Bones was a good movie.
But,
yeah.
But I'm embracing it. The one time, this is a funny story, I got a phone call from Paramount saying, hey, we got this great movie, two-hander, old guy and a young guy, and I was like, cool. And they said, we're going to send you the script. So I'm getting the script, and I'm like, you know what, I'm going to get Jack to do this movie with me, right? I'm going to get somebody great that I haven't worked with yet. And then they call me up, and they goes, did you get the script? I said, yeah. They goes, what do you think about Garrett Hedlund? I goes, for what? And they go, for the young guy. I goes, who the fuck am I? And they said, you're the old guy.
You're the old guy.
Yeah, I was like, wow.
Well,
but I laughed about that. I really did. I chuckled. I didn't get like super depressed about it.
Didn't you get offered the part, some part in Star Trek? J.J. Abrams offered you like playing a dad or something?
To play Kirk's dad, yeah.
Yeah, and you turned that down because you don't understand the Star Trek jargon. Is that correct?
I couldn't. I didn't.
Couldn't you
know how
sort
to
of
comprehend it?
Really? What do you mean you don't? You were not.
You never watched Star Trek? You don't know that stuff?
He was busy getting pussy.
I watched it maybe a couple times here and there, you know, but like not really paying attention to it. I wasn't a Trekkie.
Wow.
But I really admire JJ's talent, so that's why I try to. But I need to find roles that I can identify with on a personal level, and if it's not something that I can believe, then I don't feel like I can convince an audience of it, or not something that I understand.
What a great position to be in as an actor. Seriously, that's rarefied air. How many actors really have the luxury of saying, hey, I'm going to take a role that I can relate to? I mean, sometimes, you know, it just doesn't work
you just
out
take every job.
It could definitely be that. That could be my life in the very near future. That I could just be taking whatever job I can just to pay the bills.
Do you ever say to yourself, why me?
That's why I don't take it for granted.
Right, you can't, because you see, there's a lot of good actors on TV. You see them, and you say to yourself, why don't they get into that rarefied air where they can be in movies?
Yeah.
Do you ever sit there and obsess on it? Like, why me? Why did I make it and not these other guys?
No, I don't. I just make sure that I don't do anything to mess it up. I come prepared. I work really hard. I try to do everything I can to make sure that people appreciate my work, and they know that I appreciate the opportunity.
You're smart that way. I always read about this guy, Elliot Gould. He was #1 box office when he made MASH. And they say he was so difficult to work with that Hollywood finally got fed up with him. And he really did himself in terms of his career.
Well, there's a number of guys right behind you. I mean, there's millions of guys waiting for the opportunity. It would kill to have the jobs.
That's right. Yeah.
But there are a lot of people who just have this sense of entitlement, too, and they think, you know, well, this is... I'm the prince, and this is what I do, and
yeah, it's going to last forever, and they need me more than I need them.
That's why I've always been into building business and doing stuff outside. I don't want to put all my eggs in one basket, you know.
You building any businesses on the internet at all? Are you involved in that, or are you just strictly?
Ashton Kutcher hooking you up?
No, I'm starting to pay attention to the internet more, though. I was just one of those guys who's like, you know what, I don't need it. I don't Twitter and Facebook and all this stuff, and you know, when Diddy and I launched The Water. You know, he's very much into all of that stuff. Social networking, social media,
Right.
That kind of marketing and stuff like that. I'm more behind-the-scenes creative type of guy.
You're in business with Diddy?
Yes.
And you have a water?
Yeah.
And how's that? Is that something that is lucrative for you at this point?
It can be very lucrative. You know,
just hasn't taken off.
Have you launched The Water?
Yeah, we just relaunched The Water recently, and we're, you know, I just was in Chicago and Ohio and all these places taking meetings with retailers and stuff, and doing the same thing also from my Mark line, the vitamins and supplement line that I launched. So I'm trying to build a business, and I'm trying to also get into the health and wellness space so I can, you know, encourage people to live healthy lifestyles.
Go back to Transformers for a second. So you're going to take over the Transformers franchise.
Yep.
Does that scare you from a business standpoint? Like, oh wow, this is a really successful franchise. If I step in and it doesn't do as well, they're going to blame me.
I'm not worried about it. You know, Michael's such a talented guy. I believe in him and his vision, and I think together we can do something really interesting and different.
Right.
You know, we had a great piece of material in Pain and Gain, and I really feel like because of our working together that we elevated that material.
Right.
You know, and I think you'll know that when you see the movie. So it was such a great experience. It was a no-brainer. It wasn't like, well, let me wait, let me see the script. I was like, no, I'm in absolutely 110%.
Oh, so Pain and Gain is Michael Bay.
Yeah.
And while you're working on Pain and Gain with him and The Rock and all that, he says to you, let's do Transformers together. We can elevate the material and make it great. So you haven't even read the script for Transformers yet.
No, I hadn't read anything.
You just trust in him.
Yep, absolutely.
No kidding.
Oh, dude, he's one of the most talented directors in the business, period, ever.
And now, you took one of your kids to see Transformers, the first one, and the kid learned the word shit.
Yes.
Is that correct?
Never heard that word before?
He probably did, but he said he learned it from Transformers.
So you got upset, and you will not allow him to see Transformers. Am I correct?
I will. My wife won't.
Wow, your wife is strict. Is she fun, though, sometimes?
Absolutely. She gives me a hard time about not having a sense of humor. She's got one of the greatest sense of humors of all time.
Are the kids allowed to watch TV?
Yeah.
They are?
Yeah. Disney Channel and, age-appropriate movies.
You closely monitor this?
Yes.
And so
How old are your kids
So
now?
much so that the TV in the
37
kitchen...
years old. Yeah.
37.
Yeah.
The TV in the kitchen has a code. I don't even have the code.
You can't watch
like
TV.
At night, I want to put on something else. Just turn on HBO. You got to have a good
Are you
passcode.
so religious now that you will not watch porn?
I was never into porn.
Would you still do a movie
His
like...
life was porn.
It's true. Yeah, what did you need porn for? I was beating off to porn last night. Did you know that?
No, I didn't, but thank you for
I
telling
absolutely
me.
was. Dr.
That's
Patient
the image
porn.
I want in my head.
That's my new thing, Dr. Patient porn. I love it. I don't know why I'm obsessed with it.
Wow.
But would you today, being the religious man you are, pick a movie like Boogie Nights to do all over again? Do you think you would avoid it? If you had to do it all over again.
It would probably be a more of a process as far as making the decision to commit to something like that.
Yeah.
Because of the kids and everything, they go to school, they got to deal with it. But I don't want that stuff to limit me creatively as an artist. So I would probably still do that movie if I knew how it would turn out.
Right. See,
Yeah.
I think you would turn it down today, and that would be a tragic mistake for your career.
I don't think so.
No?
Watch when you see what I did in Pain and Gain. I do some pretty outrageous stuff.
What are you doing in Pain and Gain? Are you nude?
No, I'm not nude, but I'm off the charts crazy.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I can't wait to see the movie.
It's good.
A role is a
and
role,
Dwayne is
right?
crazy. Dwayne's doing something that he never did before. I mean, he's crazed. He's a very religious guy who just gets out of prison.
Right.
And then as soon as he gets a taste of money, he's also crazed off of cocaine and everything else that he can get his hands on.
You know what I read about you? You actually sat on the board of that Jerry Sandusky
Charity?
Yeah, I mean, you didn't know Jerry Sandusky was out of his fucking
Well, what
mind.
happened was with Invincible, we were asked through Vince Papali's organization to loan our name to something else. And that's funny because I was talking to somebody yesterday. They were asking me to give a quote for their book, which is about inspiring kids, and I wanted to make sure I did a complete background check of who it was, what it was about, because
you never know.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, so were you like? You must have been shocked. You're like, you know what? I can't.
Well, somebody asked me about it in an interview. I didn't even. I had no. I never knew who the guy was, and then all of a sudden they were like, "Well, you were on the board and all this stuff." I said, "Oh,
I was."
Oh dear.
Isn't that it's in a way it's so true because you try to do the right thing in life. You're trying to help kids. People write a book. They want to quote this and that. You can't monitor all that stuff.
Yeah, and you got to be careful with who you associate yourself with.
Did you meet Jerry at all? Did you
No.
ever? You never met him?
No. I was never really involved in the organization.
Believe me, he would like you. I think.
He would have
He
liked him
like-
as a young boy.
Yeah, you're too old now.
He ain't liking where he is.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
All right, so the new movie is coming out.
Mm-hmm.
Everything's on track. You're feeling good. The movie is called Pain and Gain, and when you think about it, it's got to be a hit. You've been on a roll. I don't think anything's tanked.
Well, The Rock is like a treasure, right? He's in every hit movie.
Yeah, this guy can't miss.
But you know what's so good about it is it's just so original. If you look at all the movies coming out this year and you see the spots for this, you see the trailer, you see the TV spots, people are like, wow, I've never seen that before.
Yeah.
And it's so outrageous that people are really enjoying it.
Yeah, you're now the family. Now, because this is a true story, some of the families that were victims of these guys who you play feel, it's sort of a comedy, and they shouldn't make a joke about,
Yeah,
about
these
the
people went through a
situation.
real situation.
Right.
Yeah.
So, what do you do about that?
Well, we're obviously very sensitive to the victims and their families, but we're telling the movie from the criminal's point of view. It's the first time you're actually in the mind of a criminal, and these guys were not the smartest guys in the world. So we never try to play it for laughs. There's a lot of humor in the movie because the things that they did were just so outrageous and ridiculous.
What's the most ridiculous thing they did?
Oh my God! Well, they would, when they were trying to get rid of these bodies after a horrible accident, they went and got a chainsaw from Home Depot. The chainsaw had hair and stuff in it, and it broke. It stopped working. They returned the chainsaw with DNA in it.
Oh, geez.
I mean, what didn't they do? When they took this guy, made him sign over all his assets, they moved into his house. They started running his business. He owned a Schlotsky's Deli. You know, in the movie, it's a Schlotsky's Deli, and they basically became the owner of the deli.
They were so brazen that they were idiotic. Are they in jail now, all of these guys?
My character and Anthony Mackie's character are on death row.
Oh, no kidding.
Wow.
Wow.
I think I saw like a Dateline or 60 Minutes piece on this thing.
Yeah.
This guy was a married guy and he befriended one of these characters.
Uh-huh.
And then they turned on him, right?
Well, no, he was training them, but yeah, they started hanging out.
They just said, why can't we have what he has? Yeah.
Exactly. They felt like because he wasn't as ripped and strong as them and didn't put as much time and energy into the gym that he didn't deserve what he had.
Wow.
And that they deserved it more. And
it's crazy.
And they moved right into his house, right?
But he was also the guy was also doing a lot of illegal things as well. And even when he testified against them, see, when the police first found him in the hospital, they didn't believe him that this happened. So the cops wouldn't do anything about it. So he had to hire a private investigator.
Wow.
And he just took the case because he didn't have any cases. And he started to unravel all this. And then finally, you know, the cops went after him. But the guy who was kidnapped also went to jail for tax evasion because he was doing a lot of illegal things. So they weren't just taking innocent people. They were taking people who couldn't really
Isn't it amazing? You would almost think that it's not a true story because it's so ridiculously
When I
over
read the
top.
script, it said based on a true story. I said, absolutely not. This could never happen. And they had to take some stuff out of the movie because it was just too outrageous. People wouldn't believe it.
Jesus, it's just really odd. And now, do the guys who are on death row, do they see the movie? Are they allowed to see this thing? Because
I don't
it's
know.
their
Maybe
life
if
story?
it's like the final request, maybe. But I don't. I think if maybe if it comes out on DVD and they're still alive, then you know they could probably see
When
it.
you play guys like this, you don't go and meet with them in order to get a vibe of what they're like in real life.
No, I after reading the script and then seeing all the news clippings, reading the article that the movie was based on, and I watched the reenactment thing that they did. But I would have been interested to talk to him, but they didn't recommend it, so I didn't push it.
Yeah, it'd be weird.
Yeah, I don't know if they have a movie night on death row.
I don't know.
No.
Should they? I don't even know.
I know in Massachusetts prisons they watch a lot of movies.
Yeah, they have movies and stuff.
Yeah, I got my DVDs.
But
going all the time.
that's different than death row.
Yes, you're very popular over there. Are you for the death penalty?
That's tough. You know what? It
is tough.
When you think about people who do stuff to innocent women and children and stuff like that, I don't know. It would really depend on the case, I would have to say.
Yeah, I was always very pro-death penalty, but now I see in the court system how screwed up it is. And
Well,
how
you
many
think about
times
how
they
many
get-
people have been wrongfully convicted, man.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Crazy.
talking about.
Oh, it's horrible.
So,
Horrible.
like, imagine they kill these guys and they're innocent.
Oh, you think about how many guys have gone to prison or spent their entire lives in prison for something that they haven't done?
It's unbelievable.
A guy got out a few weeks ago and had a heart attack right after they released
Yeah, he
him.
finally got out and then had a heart attack.
Yeah, there was something in like People magazine or something with this one guy who's a crusader who goes and gets people off, whether it's DNA evidence or whatever. But he's got like 50 people who are wrongfully convicted released from prison.
Are your kids super popular in school because you're their father? Does it work that way? They're not?
They're 9 and 7 and 4 and 3, so they're like,
So it doesn't matter yet.
Yeah, they're just doing their thing. They go to a good little
But
school.
don't a lot of, like when your kids are in school, you have to socialize with the other parents, right, who send their kids to school. And don't a lot of the parents want to come over and hang out with you and Rhea just because you're Mark Wahlberg and they sort of want to get to know you? Isn't that a difficulty?
No, my wife is very involved with the school and the kids and the parents and all that stuff, but no, they don't care about me.
They don't care about you. None of that happens.
No,
I don't believe it. I
There's a lot of nice people there.
Maybe they're all stars, Howard. Where does he live?
Yeah, where do you? Do you send your kids to a school with all stars? They go to public school?
No.
No. You can't send your kids to public school. It's too difficult.
They would want to go to public school, but no, they go to a good school with it's not a big celebrity type of thing. It's a very cool, quiet little school.
Now your daughter was a big fan of Justin Bieber.
Yeah.
So you pick up the phone and you can just get Justin Bieber on the phone and then you bring her to meet him, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is that exciting to be able to do? That's got to be great
Yeah,
as
it's
a
cool.
dad. That's
Yeah.
cool, right? He
Yeah.
was nice to you.
Yeah, the Radio Disney Awards are coming up, and they asked me to present something. I'm like, why would I do that? But then my kids love Disney Channel and Radio Disney. They listen to it, so my daughter got wind of it that it's coming up and that I might go. So I'll, if I go, I'll take them, obviously.
I understand. And how is it going with your...
I had to take my daughter once to the Kids' Choice Awards.
Yeah.
I'm going up to all these kids and like kid stars and they're on shows and I'm like, hey, can you take a picture with my daughter? The kid turns around and goes, man, make it quick, dude. Wow. Oh. He goes, hey, I get the drill, man.
Whoa.
But yeah, so it's like
I hope
I'm
you beat him
up
up.
to everybody. No, I didn't.
Isn't
Tell
that
him
funny?
everybody doesn't grow up to be Justin Timberlake.
You do anything for your kids. There's
Yeah.
anything you wouldn't do to me.
I know. My daughter, I never ask anybody for an autograph, but my daughter wanted an autograph from Paul McCartney, and I was so humiliated. I went up to him, and Chris Rock was watching, which was even more humiliating. And I go, Paul, can you just sign this for my daughter? And he was like, no, no, no. He handled me and walked away, and I was just like fucking humiliated,
Oh, you didn't sign it for him?
No, he didn't. But
He did the in a minute thing.
And he goes, yeah, I'll get to you in a minute. And then he kind of.
Where was it? Where were you?
I don't. It was at the. Where was that concert, Rob?
Of the Apollo.
Yeah, right, at the Apollo or something when Sirius XM had one. But I mean, Paul's been on my show many times, and he's a great guy, and he even gave me a
called you.
He's called me at home. He gave me a guitar. I mean, he's very, very. I love the guy, and who doesn't love Paul McCartney? But you do that kind of stuff for kids that you wouldn't normally do, right?
Yeah. It's funny that he brushed you off.
Give you the brush off.
I like that.
Oh, yeah.
But at least he's a Beatle,
Yeah, well, he's in the Beatles. He's allowed to do that. So how much money do we think we're going to make this weekend with the movie?
Do we worry about that?
Are we tracking this?
Well, we definitely want it to be good. We're paying attention to what's going on. But, it's a movie that only cost $25 million.
Who are we up
so
against?
It'll definitely be a success.
Do you got
I don't
the
think
weekend
there's
to
much,
yourself? Nothing?
Yeah, there's not much coming out. Iron Man's coming out the weekend after, which will be a
Perfect.
giant hit.
Good,
Yeah.
But
good.
the movie will have legs and it'll have good word of mouth, so hopefully it'll run throughout most of the summer.
Yeah, right. Well, I wish you a lot of luck with it. I really, truly do.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, and I don't know.
Wish me luck with my Marked line. I finally bought you some products, so you're going to be ripped up like The Rock.
I don't know. Nothing works for me.
This stuff will work
Wait
for
a minute, maybe this is it,
you.
Howard.
This stuff will work for you.
You know what? I got to do something. I'm a mess.
It'll work for you.
I'm tired of being a wimp.
If I went from 165 to 212 in 8-10 weeks.
You do martial arts?
No.
Well, you just kick ass, right?
Boxing.
You go into the.
But I like
box?
MMA. I do put my one of my assistants in an arm bar. I put him in an arm bar or a guillotine choke every day on Lone Survivor.
You're a pretty good fighter, right? I mean, you can kick some ass.
Yeah, I'm okay.
So what do? You go to a gym and then you box these guys?
No, I got a gym in my house. I don't, if I'm on the road or something, I go to a gym.
So who do you box?
Well, I got different people come over and
they come over and they spar with you.
Yeah.
Spar? And they hit you in spar.
Yeah.
What do they do? They hit you in the face?
Yeah.
They're allowed to?
Yeah.
Don't you worry
But
about
you're wearing that head stuff.
Yeah, we wear headgear. But if I'm working, then maybe we won't be going full out, because I can't show up to set with a black eye.
Can you knock a fucker out if he's wearing headgear?
People have gotten clipped a little bit.
Yeah? You love it, right?
It's great exercise.
It's right. Would you ever spar with a guy like Mike Tyson? Never.
You know what? Maybe in about 10 years.
What is it?
He's got to go.
Where are you going? What do you got on the promotional
Going to
tour?
Good Morning America, and then we're going to Kelly.
Kelly Ripa?
Yes.
Yeah. All right, that's good. You going to wear that or are you going to get dressed up?
No, I'm going to wear this.
You're going to take off that thing on your hand or are you going to just go on with it?
And I'll take it off for an hour, and then I'm putting it on no matter where I am, because I got to get this thing to get better.
Well, Mark, listen, I love you, and I hope that
You're the best,
I hope your movie's a big success. Mark Wahlberg's in Pain and Gain.
And maybe you and Gary can have a contest to see who gets more ripped. I brought all the Mark products for you. I didn't want you to have to go to Walgreens or Rite Aid to buy the products or GNC, so I brought you some
How
stuff.
many products do I have to eat in order to look like you?
Just drink some whey protein and probably eat some bars if you want. You can't eat a meal.
And I need to gain weight?
And some blast and burn packs.
But I'd have to work out with high intensity. And that's not going to happen.
Workout's 85%. I mean, 15% of it.
Really?
It's really nutrition and diet.
If this shit works, I'll drink it all at once. I'll just take the whole thing.
You get the ready-made
just take
shake.
all of it.
If I can drink that and look like you, I'm okay.
You're in.
All right, listen. Mark Wahlberg, Pain and Gain. And go see it with The Rock. And that's that. All right. We'll be back right after these words.
Bye.
Thank you, buddy.
Thank you.
Hey, it's Rob Zombie, and I'm here to, I don't know, why even pretend like I'm going to promote something? I'll walk in there, forget what it is, and spend, 15 minutes talking about something ridiculous, so I don't know.
You've been here enough.
Just
to know
happy to
the
be
deal.
here. I've been here enough to know that you cannot walk in with an agenda about something you're going to promote, so I'll do that everywhere else today.
All right.
Here, I don't know, we'll talk about our cats and our dogs and things of that nature.
Cool,
something.
We'll see you in the studio.
See you in there.
All right, thanks.
My dear friend Rob Zombie is here.
Is that right?
Hey, look at you. How you doing, man?
All right.
What are you doing? I mean, beside the movie, are you going back on tour, or what's going on? with
Yeah,
you?
well, I'm going back on tour in June.
Yeah.
Because I have the movie and the record coming out this week.
Boy, Mr.
Next week?
Busy.
I know, right?
We're putting out records. Isn't it sort of depressing now? Because I feel like the CD is dead.
It is.
The
For
record
sure.
business is almost dead. Can you sell
It is.
CDs? I mean, you've sold... How many records have you sold in your entire career?
I don't know, maybe like 16 million or something like that.
I think it's more.
I don't know.
16 million.
Something like that.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, luckily I got in under the wire before the door slammed shut when you could still make money selling records. But, I mean, the rest of the world still buys them. That's what's funny.
They do?
Yeah, it's like you go to other countries and they still have record stores and things, and people still are into it.
You mean for some reason they're not aware of the internet and...
No, I think they still like to... I mean, I don't know. I think it's the hard rock scene is more like that. The kids are still into buying the actual thing and owning it.
Right.
But but still, it is pretty dead. I mean, you sell nothing.
So when you're in the studio and you're making a new CD, do you sit there and go, "Oh, what the fuck is the use?" I mean, you do, right? It's like, what am I doing? I mean,
oh dear.
Maybe
Yeah.
I'm wasting my time.
Well, it's not so much when you're making because we'll play the songs live and kids will know the songs and people get into it. But it's when you're obsessively trying to sequence the record.
Yeah.
You're like, what do I fuck? And no one gives a shit. Why
No
are we
one cares.
obsessing over what track 9 is going to be compared to track 8? But we do it anyway.
You have to do it. You're an artist.
For
That's
the
what
one
you
guy
do.
the one guy like Gary who still cares.
Yeah, who carries, who actually loves pieces of vinyl.
Yes, and the sequencing and feeling it and flipping it over. And
Are you a vinyl collector?
I was. Well, you know what? Now I am actually because I don't know. I got into it again.
You did?
Yeah.
It seems like the dumbest fucking thing on the planet.
It might be, but
right? It's just stupid.
It might be, but somehow it makes me. God, Gary, come in here.
How many pieces of vinyl do you have?
Well, I was just talking to Gary about his show. Not enough to be on the show, but
right.
You know, a decent amount because like what it was I would find cool record stores all on the road and find these records that. The thing is with a lot of bands, sometimes it seems like here's the greatest hits of this or that, but you can't find the records of some stuff you like.
And then when you get home, you have a special turntable and you listen to your vinyl.
Yes, it's very
Do you?
special. Well, the turntable's like not good,
right?
So maybe vinyl sounds better, but not on this turntable.
That's what I mean.
Horrible.
It's just,
Yeah, like why would you invest in special equipment to hear a record?
If you want vinyl, Rob, I'll give you my
Boy.
records. I mean, it's I don't know. It just all seems so silly to me. But Gary insists that this is an important thing to do.
Well, I mean, for me, what it makes me actually do is listen to music a little more because what I would always find myself doing is going to iTunes, downloading a record,
right,
forgetting I downloaded it, and never listening to it,
right,
and then going. And then doing it again and going like, why am I going to, 5 times I downloaded it.
Are you still in love with music? Like, do you love listening to other artists and hearing current bands, or are you just like over it?
Just over it.
You're over it?
No, I'm not over it. How could you be over it?
I don't know.
I still love it, but I mean, I never listen to anything current though.
You don't?
Not really.
Like, you don't listen to the top 5 to hear what's selling?
No, I have no idea.
Why would he listen to the top 5?
Well,
Yeah,
just
exactly,
to see
but-
what's going on. I mean, in the music industry,
I
you're
kind
in
of
it.
don't care.
Right.
I guess I
Yeah,
should.
that's hardly music.
I guess I
most
should
of it.
care, but
But shouldn't you care about something, like some sort of artists or current music?
I probably should, but I don't. I mean, don't you feel this way sometimes? You're just trapped in your own time bubble, and when you hear new stuff, you go like, I can't relate to it. It does. I always feel like I can't relate to anything being made by someone younger than me. Like I just feel like.
So who do you relate to? Led Zeppelin and that kind of music?
I don't know if I relate to anything, but it's like, stuff like that. If I listen to it, it still sounds great.
Hey, Rob, I'm just trying to get to know
what
you.
was the last record you
I'm
bought?
trying to bust
Pressure
your
in here
balls
this morning. I don't know. It
What
makes
was
me
the
like,
last record you bought?
Vinyl?
You mean vinyl, Rob?
Yes, I
CD?
do. I want to see what you picked up.
He doesn't care.
I don't know.
Did you ever win a Grammy? You've been nominated like how many times?
I think 8.
8 times. Did you ever win a Grammy?
No, but the one time I got nominated, it was me and Alice Cooper did a song together. We got nominated, and he had never won either. So I thought, I'm in this year.
Right.
They're going to give it to him because he deserves it. I'm just going to coattail in.
Did
But
you
we
go
lost again? Then
you lost. Who'd you lose to?
I don't know.
You don't remember? Did you go to the actual Grammy broadcast?
No.
I
went once. I don't even know if I was nominated that year, and I don't like those type of things.
Why not? Why not go and celebrate with your industry?
Because it seems really exciting on television. Well, actually, it doesn't really, but
right.
The idea of it seems. But you're sitting there, and it just seems boring, and no one's watching the show anyway.
Maybe you need to play that game, then you would win Grammys.
Maybe.
Maybe. You don't care? You wouldn't like to see a Grammy on your shelf? Would that not turn you on?
No, I guess not.
No, you don't care.
You do care about stuff like that?
No, I don't.
No. I mean, it's like if it's something that you don't care about and then you suddenly win it, I guess it's pretty weird if you suddenly act like you care.
Yeah.
If it sold a bunch of records, I guess I would care because then it would have a purpose. But
although I was recently I won awards from Billboard magazine. I don't know what they mean. I don't know why I won them. Like top radio personality, 1990, blah blah blah. You know, and I displayed them in my office, and I look at them once in a while, and I think it makes me feel better about myself, but I'm not sure. I don't even know why I do it.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I have a few awards for different things, and I have them still, and I just...
You've seen my office.
Do you display them?
You see I displayed my stuff in my office.
Well, yeah, the lights that you have focused on them are a tad bright.
Well, they have to be displayed.
You can't get around
Rob
them.
doesn't display any of his awards?
Well, technically they're displayed. There's just no one ever that comes over to see them. So does the display count if no one's there to see it?
Do you have any friends besides me? I mean, do you have any people who come over and hang out ever?
No.
Never?
Literally never.
Never. Are you lonely?
I mean, I have West Coast friends, but I don't really know anyone on the East Coast.
Why not? You live on the East Coast now. Why don't you have any friends? What's going on there?
I think I've passed the age of making friends.
Is that right? And you don't need that kind of stimulation?
That's why when I come to your house, it's so awkward.
I know. For both of us. No, Rob and his beautiful wife,
we just
Sherry.
stare at each other and don't know what to say.
No, they will come over occasionally, and we'll spend the weekend together, and then we stare at each other.
Yeah.
But it doesn't seem so bad, right? We have a decent time.
No, it's great. And then we have that breakfast Sunday morning, and you have that look on your face like...
It's time for you to go.
You've had your breakfast. Please get out of my house.
Come on, Rob. Get the fuck out of here.
How long are you going to linger?
Tell me what happened. I haven't had a chance to talk to you about this. You were on tour with Marilyn Manson. When did this happen, by the way, this incident with Marilyn Manson?
I don't know.
Yeah.
6 months ago, maybe?
Because it seems very, like, I know you. This seems very childish. This is like high school almost.
Oh, it was ridiculous.
Ridiculous, right? You were on tour with Marilyn Manson. Are you sort of the boss? When you go out on tour with Marilyn Manson, are you guys sort of in control of the thing? Because I figure he's not a businessman.
Well, I mean, the whole tour is that tour, and most tours were structured co-headlining 50-50. Nobody, if everything's 50-50, nobody can ever complain.
Right.
You know, I mean, we would close the show, he would open it, but it was like same set time, same everything for everybody. That way, no one can ever complain. So
are you good friends with Marilyn Manson when you put together a tour, or is it strictly business?
It's sort of like a little of both, I guess. I mean, I've known him for a long time, but I'm not like good friends with him. I would, if I saw him someplace, you know, you just know people for
So when you go out,
20 years.
I just figured when you go out on tour with someone, you really do hang out and you get to know each other. But you don't, right? It's like two separate worlds.
Sometimes you do. I mean, I never really did. I would always sort of keep to myself, and the band, a lot of my band's sort of the same way, so it's like, we just don't.
Aren't a lot of guys in your band now from Marilyn Manson? Like
two of the guys, yeah.
Yeah, they left Marilyn Manson and they joined your band.
Well, they had already quit, so they didn't jump ship to, like, you know, they'd been out of that band for a while. So that was kind of weird, but...
Right. So you go out on tour with Marilyn Manson. He opens, you close the show.
Yeah.
You split it 50-50. Everything's going along just fine. One night, Marilyn Manson decides he's going to show up late.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't really told the whole story because I figured that might as well just let it die out because it was so stupid to begin with.
Right.
Because, you know, the next day it was over with, but, you know, I'm still talking about it.
Right.
It was no big deal. What it exactly was, even though as soon as you tell your side of the story, it's like, oh, yeah, that's his bullshit side of the story.
Right.
I mean, he just, and I didn't even care. He went on late, which doesn't matter. Right. He can go on late, it doesn't matter. He just has to get off on time because, you know, all the buildings have strict curfews, so...
Right. When you do a concert, you can't stay there all night. It
Yeah,
costs
no, I mean
extra
they will
money to
literally just
stay.
turn the power off and turn the lights on and people start filing out. So you can't do that. So he can go on whenever he wants. He can do whatever he wants.
Right.
It doesn't matter to me. I don't even pay attention.
But it does affect your show.
He
if
just has to come off stage at the allotted time that he's supposed to be off stage. That's the only thing. And he went on late, which I didn't care. I was in my
How many
dressing
minutes
room.
late? Half
I don't
hour?
even know. I think he was like 20 minutes late, 25
Okay.
minutes late. I wasn't even paying attention really because I was in my dressing room getting ready. So whatever he does, I'll monitor what he does. I just happened to that night. Sometimes in the dressing rooms they have TVs so you can watch the other acts while you're getting ready. So that night I just happened to be watching.
Right.
Normally I wouldn't have because I'd be too busy. And he went, and then he went on late, which was fine. I didn't care. But then he wasn't coming off on time, and he was kind of going and going. And I'm like,
dude, you're
someone's got to go out there and, which sometimes it happens. 5 minutes, something. You go, can't judge everything perfectly. But I'm like, is someone going to stand off the side of the stage and start waving, flashing the flashlight, like time to get off?
Right.
And just kind of kept going and going. And then he finally came off, whatever time, and, whatever. We played our show, and it wasn't until the next day that it sort of turned into a thing.
He badmouthed you.
Yeah, because in his mind, he thought I had he couldn't play his last song, which I didn't even know. But it had nothing to do with me. I mean, he
Right.
went on he went on late.
He went on late. He's got to end his
set. It was
set.
the chaos of his show, and it had nothing to do with me. And
but he blamed you.
Yeah, he got on stage and started ranting and raving about me. And
What did he say about you?
I missed a lot of it because I was backstage getting ready, but I saw some of it on TV, and I'm like, he's screaming, "I'm going to kick somebody's ass!" And I was watching on TV, like, what is he talking about?
Right.
Not realizing he's talking about me.
Right.
I'm just watching, like, who's he mad at? Because he's always,
There's always something going
I mean,
on.
you know him, and this is not gossip. He always seems to be mad at somebody.
Right. He
That's just
needs
sort of-
that.
yeah, he's like, I just figured it was some crew guy that did something, and he was pissed off about sound guy.
Right. He's a drama queen.
So he's just ranting and raving, and eventually, after watching it for 5 minutes, I realized he's talking about me. Like,
Poor
what the
you.
fuck did I do? I'm back here minding my own business.
Right.
And he's out there, and I'm like, I was like, oh, I'll just not say anything. I'll just ignore it because that's just sort
'Cause you're
of the way
above it.
things are.
Yeah.
But it kept going and going, and you can only be pushed so far. So when he came off stage,
Yeah, you feel like a
I
douche.
bolted backstage into his dressing room with the ridiculous thought, like, I'm just going to punch him in the face, and that's
Right.
going to be the end of that, and we won't have to talk about it anymore.
Right.
And I ran in there, and I think he was sort of like, hey, whatever. But I was pissed.
Hey, whatever.
Like, I don't know. I don't know if he even
So wait,
realizes
you
the things
go.
he says sometimes.
Let me understand something. So you go charging back. Can you beat him up, by the way? I mean, have you assessed that situation before you go charging in there?
I don't know how you would assess the situation.
Right. Are you a good fighter?
It's not something that I want to do.
Right. Have you been in fights?
It would be absurd. Not since you're a kid.
Right.
Like, who gets into a fight as an adult?
No, very few people.
It's pretty absurd.
Yeah.
What is happening? But you just get pissed. I mean, you know.
Right.
But it almost happens. I mean, it seems like this.
So you charge into his dressing room. You say, "Hey, Marilyn Manson."
I didn't go in there like, I'm going to fight. I just kind of went in like, what the fuck is your problem?
And what did he think? Did he explain himself?
Not really. He sort of started to, and I just basically, I was pretty calm about it. I was pissed but calm. I was just like, look, man, I don't fuck with your show. I didn't fucking do anything with your show. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about, so what the fuck?
And all of a sudden, when you confront a guy like that,
Well,
suddenly...
then he didn't really know. I just think that he just starts saying things. He's not thinking that someone's actually going to be pissed about it.
Right.
And not just shrug it off like, If it was backstage, I might have just not shrugged it off. But, like, if you're going to go in front of the crowd and say the whole thing, now it just became, like, a real thing you just created.
So after you
that
confront
I'm still
him...
talking about.
Yes,
obviously.
but after you confront him... I just want to understand how you handled it. After you confront him, then you go out on stage and you start singing "Fuck Marilyn Manson," right?
Well, yeah, because I don't remember what I did. I don't remember.
I'll
but
play it for you.
Don't play it.
Come on, I
hate
want to
hearing
play it.
live music.
Wait.
No, I can imagine.
All right, you don't want to hear it?
No, I hate hearing
It's
live
so
recordings.
great.
Is it?
Yeah.
But I was just, after I got off stage, it's like, oh, this is so stupid.
Right.
But
so even after confronting him and he gave you his explanation,
he never really gave me an explanation.
That's when you went on stage.
I was just.
Is that when you went on stage and said "fuck Marilyn Manson" and all that other stuff? Because that's what made my news. That's what made my
Yeah.
radar.
So it made it seem like I started the whole thing. Obviously.
Yeah.
Even though I didn't, have any reason to be mad at him for anything.
How do you feel about the two of you doing a boxing match on my show? Would you consent
I
to
feel
that?
that's a mature way to just
Why not? Let's get it over
No,
with.
the thing is, like, the next day nobody cared, but it's like it seems like this big deal. And then that was like almost like the first week of the the tour. Then we did all of the U.S. and all of Europe together.
Who patches things up between you guys when you have a big, tour like that and it's bound to make a lot of money? Who actually intervenes and says, "Oh, come on, guys, let's sit down and work this out business-wise"?
Well, I mean, after it happened that night, his manager and Twiggy and stuff were all in my dressing room, like apologizing, like, "Oh my God, we're so sorry. This is so fucked up."
Right.
I was like, by that point, I was like, "Who cares? Fuck it." So I basically just approached like, you know what? It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
We don't have to talk to each other for the entire tour. It doesn't affect our shows. But, our tour manager used to be their tour manager or I don't remember how it went. And he sort of, I think, was in the middle of it.
You're all artists. You're all trying to make a living.
It's like, it was absurd, but everyone's, sometimes people just push you and you're like, especially, I think it's when you try so hard to make something like fair, like, okay, it's 50-50, that way no one can say shit, and then someone starts something, you're like,
because you couldn't come up with a more fair business arrangement. It's like, hey, you make 50, I'll make 50. Let's shut up and go make some money.
Yeah, I mean that's the only way, because and you don't want it to be some ego thing. So if it's kind of like, you get everything I get, you do your whole thing, I do my whole thing, done.
Would you go out on tour with him again?
Probably, yeah.
Does it give you pause now when you say, hey, when I pick a guy I'm going to go on tour with, I got to really make sure?
No, it never happened before. We've done so many tours. I mean, I've toured endlessly for 25 years and literally never had a problem with it.
Do you still like touring?
Yeah, that's the best part about it. That's the only thing, like when we're talking about CDs and all that and vinyl, but touring is the only thing that hasn't changed. That's exactly the same.
And it feels good to go out on the road and do all that stuff?
Great.
Yeah,
I like it a lot.
Yeah. Well, I mean, this directing thing now is getting very...
Does that work with a music career? I think
what, directing?
Yeah.
Why not?
Well, I mean, I think, do they come from different places in you, Rob, or is it the same kind of
pretty different.
creative process?
It's real different. I mean, I used to do this thing that didn't work where I would make a record and tour and do that for a couple of years and then stop and then make a movie and just be in that world for years at a time. And literally when I'd be done making the movie and doing that whole stuff, I'd be like, I don't even remember how to play a show. I don't even remember what I used to do. It would feel so separate because you go from being out front, having to make a spectacle of yourself, to being so far behind the scenes that you don't even talk to people practically.
I read an interview with some director who said you really don't know how to direct a movie until you've directed at least 4 or 5 movies. That I know what it was somebody commenting on the fact that Jon Stewart wants to direct a movie. And the guy was saying it was probably a mistake. I was reading this critique. He goes, it's probably a mistake because it takes 4 or 5 movies before you really know what the hell you're doing. You agree with that?
Do you feel that way?
I feel like, yeah. I mean, I don't know. I feel like you can with each one you learn enough that you can get through the next thing and you can make it better and you learn stuff. But I don't know if you've probably even after 5 movies, if you feel like, oh, I got this.
Right.
It's like with anything. The more you learn, the more, and it sounds so cliche, but the more you learn, the more you feel like, oh God, the more there is to do. But
yeah, I find with me, I gotta jump into something and delve into it completely. I can't just be into one thing and then another thing and then another thing. You got to really sort of immerse yourself in it, right? Well, you started directing stuff when you were doing rock videos, right?
Well, that's why I started with videos, and now what I've been doing in between movies is doing some TV and some TV commercials.
Yeah, what was that commercial you did for like Woolite or something?
I did a Woolite commercial, and I've done some other ones since then.
Now that seems odd.
No, you know what? I've always heard...
Rob Zombie for Woolite.
I've always heard that commercial directing is probably the best training for movie directing. That these are the guys...
a story?
These are guys who actually are on the cutting edge of the technology. Because commercials, they put up a lot of money for them, and you can experiment, right?
Well, what's good about... What I like about commercials is... it feels like, it'd be like if you did a tour and you played one show a year, and after that show you'd be like, that was a terrible show. You need to do in a lot of shows. You kind of get in the groove, and at least the commercials, you feel like you keep your sort of directing chops up because you're there and you're working. Because sometimes if you haven't done a movie for 2 years, you walk on set and you feel like this is awkward.
Where is this Woolite commercial? I want to see it. I mean, did you do some sort of weird commercial, or was it like
pretty
a straight...
weird. It was the thing with the commercials, they're not my ideas. They come to you. The ad agency has agonized over it for sometimes a year.
Wow.
And they bring you the boards. But I mean, it's it's all over YouTube for sure. But
I'll check it out.
Yeah, it's pretty. But what I liked about it, they wanted to do something, of course, that was like scary.
Right.
Which is, it's a pretty weird Woolite commercial. It looks like a guy's dragging a dead body through a field.
For Woolite?
For Woolite.
Wow,
You gotta
how
look at this
weird.
thing.
Was this an internet commercial? They didn't air
No,
it on.
it's still on TV. It was so successful then they're still running it. They've been running it for 2 years. I've seen it so much on television.
Do you get paid every time they run it? Is it one of those? No, you don't. You get paid one-shot deal.
Yeah.
Oh, what a shame.
What a shame.
So a person is dragging somebody...
Dragging like what looks like a body bag through a field, in like this creepy field, and there's a spooky house and stuff. It looks like a serial killer, and then he starts pulling out laundry and torturing the laundry on these torture devices, and it's like, don't torture your clothes, use Woolite. But at the end of the commercial, there's all the nice stuff, like the pretty people wearing their nice clothes.
Yeah.
That was the stuff that was fun to film because it was so easy.
Are you becoming the guy who they go to for horror movies and stuff? I mean, are you only going to be a horror movie director?
No, this movie I just did will be the last one that I do, I think.
You're talking
Really?
about... The new movie, by the way, is called... Hold on, Lords of Salem.
Yeah, the Lords of Salem.
Which opens nationwide this Friday. Were you... we've discussed this a million times, but were you upset that they put on the Munsters television show and they didn't tap you for that? Because no one is a bigger Munsters fan besides myself. Well, you and me, right?
No, I never even crossed my mind. I figured, like, with TV shows, it's like...
Did you watch the Munsters, the
I
remake?
missed it because I was on tour, and I forgot to watch it.
You never saw it?
I never got to see it.
I thought it was really good.
Yeah,
Like,
I remember
Robin
you
didn't
saying
think
that
it
you
was
liked
good.
it, but
I loved it.
I was unsure of it till that night at your house hanging out with Jerry. And
Right.
He's so funny.
Right.
I like...
You got it.
I got why they would cast him, because he's so funny.
How big of a Munsters fan are you? If I was to ask you questions about the Munsters, do you think you could answer them?
I don't know.
I want to test you.
I wore this for you today.
Oh, yeah, you got the Herman Munster shirt. I love the Munsters.
But,
let me see how good you are. I'm going to give you a
bet
test.
I won't remember any of them.
Let's see.
There was a time where I was...
How many times have you watched the Munsters, the episodes?
I don't know. I mean, I've been watching it over and over since I was a little kid, but I haven't watched it recently.
Let me see how you do. I'm going to really test you now. Let's call this the Munsters game.
Okay.
With my special guest, Rob Zombie.
Right.
All right, here we go. You ready?
I don't know.
Herman drove the Munster coach. What was the name of Grandpa's coffin car?
Well, that's easy. Dragula.
Dragula, of course. I guess start you off.
Okay,
All right, that's one. You got it
That'd be
right.
nice. I don't get that one.
All right. Of course, you wrote a song called Dragula.
Yes.
All right.
Softball question.
There were two actresses who played Marilyn. Name them.
There was first Beverly Owen, who quit after 13 episodes because she wanted to be with her boyfriend. Who
Yes.
didn't, that didn't go anywhere. And then Pat Priest replaced her.
Excellent. That is correct.
Which, it's funny as a kid when they would always do that, you wouldn't even notice. You'd go like, why does she look weird now?
Yeah, and it was weird, too, because
Like
the
the two
original
Garens.
Marilyn was young, and then the one they got second was like an old 44-year-old woman.
I think she was only 30.
30-something.
For
back then, it was like old.
But at least she was blonde. You could always tell the first one. I think she was always wearing a wig because she'd always wear like a...
And Beverly Owen had to leave because her boyfriend lived in New York.
Yeah.
She marries the fucking guy, gives up the Munsters, and guess what? They got a divorce.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
She could be at a convention signing pictures of herself from 40 years ago right now.
What was the name of Grandpa's pet bat?
I assume it was Igor.
Correct. What do you mean you assume it was Igor?
That was the first thing that popped in my head, but I wasn't...
All right.
You know.
Now, here's a good one. Let me see how good you are.
Okay.
What was the name of the funeral parlor that Herman worked at?
Gateman, Goodman, and Graves, I think.
Oh, my God. Beautiful. Gateman, Goodberry, and Graves.
Yeah.
I am
Look
very
at you.
impressed.
What was the name of Herman's twin brother?
That I don't think I'm going to remember.
Come on, you can pull this out.
His twin brother.
Herman had a twin brother.
Yeah, he was all like... He was always wearing an ascot.
Right.
I can't
Herman's brother wore an ascot?
He was more refined than Herman.
Starts with a C.
I can't think of it right now.
Charlie.
Oh, okay.
How do you not know that?
It's all right. But that was the name of the episode, too, he was on. Something with the name Charlie in it.
In the episode
A
entitled...
Monsterologist.
In the end... Listen, this guy's good. Rob comes to my house, and we sit and watch Munsters.
Oh, my God.
On the big screen, though.
On the big screen. I got a big screen.
He built the
Is it
screening room so we
different?
can watch the Munsters.
Yeah, it was
Is
so
it
much fun.
different?
And it was weird because Jimmy Kimmel was over, and I think Jimmy... I don't know that Jimmy's that into the Munsters.
Jimmy doesn't dig the Munsters.
But he wanted to bond with us, so he sat and watched the Munsters with us. Because we were insane. In the episode entitled Herman the Rookie, what baseball team did Herman try out for?
Oh, good question. I haven't seen that episode in a long time. I don't know, was it the Dodgers?
That is correct.
Yeah.
Look at you.
That was a guess, though.
Don't you remember? Because I forget who was in the episode. But
some episodes, was Sandy Koufax the episode?
Yeah. What was the name of Eddie's doll?
Oh, that was Woof Woof.
Correct, Woof Woof.
Look at the ear was always coming off.
Wow.
My God, you spent a lot of time.
Oh, what, you think Rob had a life? If there wasn't for rock music, he'd still be in his room watching. You ever think about that, like what you'd be doing if it wasn't for rock music? Like
it would. Well, yeah, it would be sad because I remember having that moment. I think you ever have that moment where you're like, you might only be 21, but I had no job. I had got kicked out of college, and I remember sitting in my crappy apartment in New Jersey thinking, well, you did it. You're a loser. With nothing in sight, like, you did it. You're a loser.
What was the college?
Parsons School of Design.
Yeah. You got kicked out?
Well, I would never go, so my grades got so low they kicked me out.
Did your parents pay for it, or did you pay for it?
Well, no, they paid for it. I since paid them back, but
were they livid? Like, hey, we're paying for this.
I think they were relieved. I mean, they didn't pay beyond what I went. So
yeah, but I'm just saying, I mean, they're paying for it, and then they have this son who, like isn't even going to class, and they're probably like, why the hell are you making us pay for this
thing? Well, I'm sure for many years, yeah, it was a horrible disappointment.
What were you thinking not going to class? I mean, why?
I was thinking that I moved from a boring town, and I was in New York City, and it was more fun to go to Danceteria all night long than to get up and go to class.
You went to a place called Danceteria?
Yeah, remember that place?
But you didn't dance.
No, it was just called Danceteria for whatever reason. It was a cheesy name, but... it was 4 or 5 floors, and it was a great place.
And you get laid there?
No.
Did you have the whole beard and the whole look?
No, I don't. I was pretty young. I don't think my beard would have grown then.
In high school, were you happening at all? I mean, were you getting laid, or were you just like kind of a loser?
What are we doing right now?
What do you mean?
You're reading me questions about the Munsters.
Oh.
Doesn't that answer the other question you just asked me?
Yeah, right, okay. How old were you when you first got a woman?
I don't know, 16 maybe?
16? Oh, so you weren't doing so bad.
Well, when you're 16, it seems horrible. I guess I think it should be like... 14.
What was the name of the old ring Eddie found in the attic that carried a terrible curse?
Oh, yeah, that was...
This would be really incredible.
Yeah,
if you got
I
this.
think it's... I forget how they would say it. It's almost like Lugosi is like the word, but...
Very good.
But is that the word?
It's an emerald.
Different,
it's the...
I can't remember how they would...
It was the...
Emerald Lugosi?
It was, it was the Fregosi.
Fregosi, yeah.
Emerald. Very good. I'm going to give you that one. That was close.
I think I was never quite sure what Grandpa was saying when he would say it.
Herman, it's the Fregosi Emerald.
Yeah, like...
okay, if you get this, you will be the greatest Munsters trivia expert.
I already got one
of all
wrong,
time.
so I'm not.
Yeah, but this is a tough one. Very few people know this one. What was Herman's wife's name in the pilot? It was not Lily.
Oh yeah, and it wasn't.
It was not Lily.
It wasn't Yvonne DiCarlo either.
No.
It was. I got to replay that episode in my head because Happy Durman was the Eddie that they didn't use, who was horrible.
That's right. That's right. A lot of the
and yeah, what was her name?
I'll give it to you.
No, I'll think of it.
All right, go ahead.
Damn it, Phoebe.
That's correct. Phoebe. Holy
And who played her? Who played her?
I forget. I read this recently too. It's weird that it wasn't Lily. It wasn't. And they had a hard time. They had a hard time getting Yvonne DiCarlo to do it.
Well, yeah, I suppose there was a lot of attitude because I guess they considered her a movie star.
Yeah.
But,
and she didn't want to do TV. Meanwhile, it's the best thing ever happened to her.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, one last one, and that's it. Phoebe is awesome. I should probably stop there.
Was it Joan Marshall that played you?
I don't remember. Who provided the primary voice for the Raven and the cuckoo clock that bugs her?
Probably Mel Blanc.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, look at you. Look at that. Impressive, no?
I thought those questions would be harder. That's why I was afraid of them.
Who was the band that came on the Munsters, remember?
Standells.
Right. Joe asked that from Mount Pleasant. Okay, Joe, there's your answer. Wow. Yeah, you should have directed the Munsters movie or something.
I still want to see that TV show just to...
Yeah, it was good.
Did it seem like the Munsters, or was it just something...
No, it was something cool, though. It was different. It was all right. So...
Did you say Joan Marshall? You're right.
Yeah, look at this guy. He's on fire. I'm telling you, when I watch the Munsters with him, it's a pure delight. Like he's sitting there mouthing all the words, you know.
There's some great stuff in there too. Some bloopers. There's one scene, I can't remember what episode it was, where Herman's coming down the stairs and he's talking to Lily, and a crew guy wanders by in the background, and they didn't cut it. It's like just some guy in a white T-shirt walks by in the back. It's so funny.
Yeah,
See, that's why you can't recreate that.
Yeah,
maybe not.
The best one. Remember the episode with Zombo?
Zombo is the best episode ever.
Louis Nye.
Right. Yes.
But like at the beginning of that episode when Eddie's sitting on the I guess I did watch the Monsters a lot.
Yeah.
Beginning of the episode when Eddie's sitting on the front porch talking to his friends about Zombo.
Right.
Eddie must have learned everyone's lines because when the other kids are talking, he's mouthing the words to what they're saying through the whole thing.
Don't you remember when we were watching Zombo together?
Maybe that's what we're saying.
Yeah, right. That's yeah. The Zombo is the best one.
That's my favorite one.
Because Eddie thought Zombo was a real guy, and then when he learns he isn't, he's completely destroyed. It's awesome. Anyway, so the new movie, Rob, we could do this all day.
Oh,
maybe we should.
Yeah, maybe we should do it all day. People like it. The new movie is called. Well, first of all, I should tell you the new CD is called Venomous Rat Regeneration Vendor, which is some name. You know, I still fantasize. I screwed up so bad when we recorded
Why
together.
do you always say that? You always say that.
You know I did. You can be honest. I couldn't get the voice you wanted me to get. I should have sang it in my regular voice. Yeah. You know, and I still feel I need to get back in the studio and record that thing
Are you going to redo?
We need to do an updated version of that.
I need a remake on
Because
that.
I can see from Twitter you want to get rid of it.
No, I don't.
Oh, then why is everyone always tweeting me? Oh,
no.
We got to keep that song.
That song is always going to be the theme song. But we had a theme song contest, so people thought, oh, you want to get rid of Rob saying it. But no, it was just something
well, then
fun
I'll
to do.
ignore all that.
Yeah, no. That
I
will
thought it was
always
out
be.
the window.
But the new movie is called The Lords of Salem. Are you nervous about the box office here? You always say no, but I don't believe you. I think you are.
I'm not because this movie's a little different. Like the last couple movies I did, like the Halloween films, they were coming out on 4,000 screens, big wide release. This is a smaller release. So
what does that mean? I mean, I have
less
to go
screens.
I have to search around for it.
Yeah, well, I mean, a little bit more. I mean, it won't be. It'll be. If you want to see it, you can find it, but it's not going to be every single theater you go to.
But you made a statement. You said, hey, my movies are not for everyone, that I know that half the audience will like it and half the audience won't, and I don't care. You don't care. Well, you can't please everyone.
I wouldn't know how to please everyone if I had to.
Right. You don't do market research on these things?
Well, no, because, I mean, we would not with this film, but with the other films, you know, you do the test screening and you listen to it, but you can't. What can you derive from that?
Did you write the script for Lords of Salem?
Yeah.
And what is this script? What is it about? In other words, it's a radio disc jockey, right?
Yeah, it's like it's a show that's sort of like, you know, the bad version of this show.
So was I the inspiration for your movie? Is that what you're trying to tell me?
Yes.
Yeah, I
there's
was.
a character that's sort of like if you and Fred were one person.
I see. Wow. We are one person.
But actually inhabiting one body.
So there's a character so there's a disc jockey, and the disc jockey, becomes possessed by witches?
Eventually, yes, because of her lineage back to something that happened in 1697
And your wife
yada, yada.
plays the disc jockey?
Well, she's one of them. She's sort of the Robin. Who laughs happily at everything that...
Not everything, trust me.
The two-headed Howard and Fred creature says, even when it's not funny.
I see.
Oh, how dare you?
Yeah. No, in the movie.
In the movie,
not in real
life. Yeah, she laughs only at funny things.
Always funny in real life.
That's
it's just not in the movie.
And so your philosophy I like about this movie. You said corporate America wants everyone to like everything all the time, that their expectation is that businesses are like...
When did I say all this important stuff?
You said corporate America wants everyone to like everything. You must like all TV shows. You must like all products because that's how they make the most money. But the things that I've always loved, this is you talking, aren't the things that always make the most money.
Well, of course,
and you're right.
I mean, the stuff that I love, I think there's a few things in life that made a fortune that everybody loves, like the Beatles.
Right.
That everyone goes, okay, it was hugely popular and amazing, but most of the time that's not the case.
But do you think you say that because you're fearful that America will not love your film? You're saying it out of fear rather than confidence.
No, I think I'm just being honest for a change, because you just realize, I mean, I think what happens after a while is you just realize, it becomes like, what are you chasing? You know, because I see people do that, like they just seem... not to name anybody, but after a certain age, you see someone, you go like, you're already the #1 box office star in the world. You have $1 billion. Why do you seem so
Miserable.
paranoid. You seem miserable, and you seem so desperate to have everyone love you all the time.
Yes.
Who gives a shit?
Well, if you truly feel that way, that's extremely healthy. Because rather than sitting and creating art for the masses, you're sitting and creating art because you love it. And that's probably purist.
I think the big thing that changed my mind on that was when I made the first Halloween movie, there was stuff about it I wasn't happy with. So it always bothered me. And then the movie came out, and it was #1, and it made a fortune and broke the box office records. And it didn't make me happy because I was so hyper obsessed on what was wrong with the film in my mind that I knew at that moment that will never matter to me.
Do you think things were wrong with it because you were trying to make it commercially successful and you were trying to please all of your corporate masters?
I think at that point, I don't remember, but it was just, I felt rushed. I felt there were too many cooks in the kitchen, like, you know how it becomes.
So how much money did it cost to make Lords of Salem?
Oh, this is a cheaper film. This was only like $2.5 million.
$2.5 million bucks.
Smaller.
How can you make a movie for that these days?
Tell me about it.
Yeah, and so you made it for $2.5 million. So if the movie makes $20 million, you're hit a home run, right?
Well, yeah, no, that's the thing. That's what's great about it too, where I don't have to worry because it's gonna make money no matter what.
Right.
That's so. I guess you can stop worrying once that factor comes out.
Are other rock and roll people, particularly in the heavy metal genre, jealous of you because you have something more going on than just music?
I don't think so.
I do. I do.
I never noticed that.
Why does this guy from GWAR give you a hard time?
I don't know.
He does. You know that.
No, I don't know.
He does.
I don't know. I don't know anything about.
He's always.
I haven't thought about GWAR in a long time.
Do you know these guys in GWAR?
I don't think so. I mean, I remember I met some of them. I mean, I remember the first time I saw them was like, whatever, like a million years ago when I first heard of them.
Did you like them?
I thought it was a pretty crazy show. Right. I haven't seen them in 20 years, but
are they still
I know
around?
I've met somebody in the band. I know there's certain people that I have met that I don't think are in the band anymore, but,
I see.
Something I thought about.
These guys in GWAR want to direct a Woolite commercial, and they see you getting all this work.
Well, that's when it happens,
That's right.
It's the things like that.
Do you have, so what is the next move in terms of being a movie director? I know you put out the new album. That's out now. Then you've got this movie, Lords of Salem. What's the next move in terms of movies if you're not doing horror movies?
Well, the next movie that I'm doing is this movie called The Broad Street Bullies.
This is the hockey movie?
The hockey movie, yeah.
Who knew you do not look like a hockey fanatic.
Well,
What does he look like, Howard?
He looks like a man who's a fan of the homeless. Rob, will you ever change your look? It's a look you have never changed. You always have the beard and mustache. You always have the long dreads.
I don't know, maybe someday.
You would never give it up. And why should you?
Maybe as a director, you should have a different look.
Yeah, maybe an ascot, like Charlie, Herman's brother.
I should. Yeah. Does he have a monocle also?
Yeah, he did. He had a monocle.
I believe you're right, yes.
Right.
I'm in a smoking jacket.
Right. Seriously, is this a look that will always be you?
I don't know.
Do people ever say you've got to change your look? This is, it's just too long like this.
No. I mean, maybe. But I think for what I do with music, it seems like, I mean, I don't keep it. It just, your look is your look. It's just you. But after a while,
it fits.
It's just what you do. I mean, I think that's the one thing that's great about hard rock, metal, whatever. It's not trendy. I mean, the bands are just how they are. You don't expect them to change with the times.
Are you sorry you're so heavily tattooed?
No.
You are not? I got that impression you were. I called you up. I was in Los Angeles. I was looking to get a Bianca tattoo because my dog had died.
Yeah.
And I called you. I figured, well, if anyone knows where to go for a tattoo, it would be you. And I called you, and you were like, "Oh man, I don't even know anymore. I'm not in that world. I don't."
I haven't gotten a tattoo in a long time, but
well, you have no room left.
Well, I don't know. For me, for some weird reason, it seemed like each one I got as I got older, it hurt more.
Right.
Until I was like, "This is miserable."
But when
I was younger, I didn't seem to care. But why does it seem so miserable?
When you're nude. And I mean, you're heavily tattooed. Where is your chest tattooed?
No, it's really just my arms.
Just your arms.
Yeah,
that's it.
A little bit on my chest, not much.
When you're nude, do you ever look at yourself and say, my look would be much better if I wasn't so heavily tattooed?
No, I actually think sometimes I'm so used to having my arms tattooed and having most of the people that are around me tattooed the same way that when people's arms aren't tattooed, it actually looks kind of funny to me.
Right. Because I mean, when you're in rock and roll,
that actually looks funny.
It's true. When you're in rock and roll, everyone walking around on stage is heavily tattooed.
Yeah. So when you see someone and their arms are bare, it looks like they have little baby arms.
When you did it, though, it wasn't such a popular trend to get tattooed. I'm sure your family was quite disturbed because they probably thought you were like the tattooed man.
I don't remember. I mean, I think at that point, I was probably still a horrible disappointment.
Are you? Are your parents disappointed in you?
No, I don't think so.
Do you ever see them?
Yeah, I see them all the time.
I get the feeling like you don't have any. Even when I started to ask you about high school and about your parents, I feel like you completely clam up.
I do.
Yeah, why?
I clam up wisely on this show about anything that's real.
Well, no, you don't. You just talked about the Munsters. What's more real than that?
Yeah, I'm good with that subject. That I'll let
Your
loose
parents
on.
still live in Jersey?
No, they live in California.
They live in California. And you go
Do
and
you have siblings?
I have one brother who lives in California. He lives in Burbank.
Does he have the long beard and the tattoos and the hair?
No, he has...
He's got a normal job?
No, he's in a band, too. He has, like, kind of like Billy Idol style hair.
Yeah, I remember him. That's right. He wears an ascot, though, when he directs, doesn't he?
Yes,
Yeah.
So I can't do that because it's...
I see. So, the new movie is Lords of Salem.
Yes.
It's got to make some money.
Yes, it has to make some money.
Right, it's a horror
But you
movie.
got to look for it because it's not on every screen.
Right, Robin. How will you find it, Robin?
It's as they say, limited at the moment, and then they'll put on more screens.
Oh, okay.
Rob, any regrets in your career?
I feel like when I was listening to Bradley Cooper in here explaining Silver Linings Playbook,
right.
trying to explain to you that this is a real movie, Howard. It's just on limited screens at this point.
Right. And Rob, are there any regrets in your life? Are you happy with your life? Are you happy with everything you've done?
Yeah, I'm fine.
You're fine.
I have nothing to complain about.
Is being a rock star the greatest career a man can have?
I think it must be, yeah.
It has to
Pretty
be,
awesome.
right? Is it an amazing feeling when you're up on stage and
It's great. I mean, I think it's truthfully more fun now than ever. Because when you're young, it seems like you find, like everything, you complain about everything, everything's a problem, the band can't stand each other, and as every year that goes by, it becomes more fun and great,
Still happy not having children, you and your wife?
Yes, that I'm very happy about.
You don't like kids?
It's fine if there's someone else's kids.
Right.
For a limited amount of time.
Right, you just could not handle it. If your wife said to you tomorrow, I need to have children.
I don't think I can handle it.
You would say, look, that's it. Get the fuck out of the house.
Yeah, kids, it's like after 5 minutes, I'm like, that
That's
was
it.
great, I'm done. That was
like-
really good. You ran up and down the hall 3 times, and it was funny, and I'm good.
Because you're a creative guy. You're not bored. You're not looking for something to do, right? You're busy.
I don't know anyone who has kids that's happy about it. Everyone I know who has kids does everything in their power to push them off onto somebody else all day long.
I see a lot of that myself.
Yeah. I don't know anyone
see
who spends
people.
every waking. I mean, it's funny. I mean, when I was a kid, it seemed like I must have drove my mother up the wall. Like you were always around mom. Now it's like mom's a stranger.
And now look at you. I mean, what good did it do her having kids?
Right, you left her.
Right.
After all that.
What a waste of time. That's what I feel sometimes, though. I think back and go, wow, it must have really been.
Where were you when you
drag.
saw a kid smash his head from the balcony, jumped off the balcony? Was it at one of your shows?
Well, that happens a lot.
It does. People jump from the balcony?
It seems like it's a little less common, but like back in the 90s, it seemed like people weren't really thinking.
People were committing suicide, or they were just sort of high?
No, they were just. I think there was a moment when I don't know. I the time frame I can't remember, but the sort of like mosh pit, all that stage diving stuff, which was always sort of like a punk rock small club sort of thing.
Yeah. And people start to think they're
which
invincible.
is okay because you're jumping off the stage at CBGB's, which is about 1.5 feet high.
Right.
And what's the worst thing you're going to do is nothing.
Right.
And then suddenly you move it to an arena level and you're jumping off a stage that's 8 feet high or off the balcony. And, it's brutal.
Yeah. You saw a kid split his head open, right?
Yeah, well, because they don't realize that. Well, they get on stage sometimes. This doesn't really happen anymore. It seems like this has died down. But, you try to make that jump from the stage over the barricade into the front row. And it's pretty far sometimes.
Yeah.
And they forget that they got to clear the monitors, and they're not really getting a good jump.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it gets pretty ugly sometimes.
Yeah. Do you ever warn the kids at the beginning, don't jump, don't make that kind of mistake?
No, because with most things, saying to someone, don't jump, is like saying, please try to jump.
Was it a true story, Rob? I can't tell if you were joking about this or not, but I do want the true answer. That you once claimed to smoke crack with Ozzy Osbourne and Rick James. Were you joking?
Of course I was joking.
What do you mean, of course? Why would you joke about something like that? The story
because I was
that
on VH1, I think, and I thought it would be funny to talk.
But when
there
you
was a
say
picture
something,
of me and Rick. The guy asked me. There was a picture of me, Rick James, and Ozzy.
Right.
At something. I think we're at the Grammy Museum or some broadcasting museum, some party. Clearly, like at something like that, and the guy asked me about it. So I just thought the truth was incredibly boring, so I just...
You made it up.
And I thought it was pretty obvious I was joking, but...
You've never done drugs?
Not like that.
Smoke weed?
Not really, no.
Shrooms?
No.
Acid?
Well, what drugs did you do?
Hash, a little hash.
Hash oil?
I don't really like it.
It's not for you, right?
I don't like it.
Do you drink at all?
Not really anymore.
I don't think I've ever seen you drink. Have I?
At your house, yes.
You do? You do drink? You have a little wine or something.
I don't like it I don't really anymore. I would, but I don't like that feeling of not being in control of my brain. It really bothers me.
You ever do Zycam? That's what I'm on right now.
That's what Howard's doing the show on today.
What do you do when you have a cold coming on and you have to go out on tour?
And you're got to go on stage.
What do you do?
Oh, that's the worst.
Yeah.
Because you know this is going to be a horrible show.
And it's going to blow your voice out.
Yeah, and you just want to apologize to the audience in advance.
Right.
It doesn't happen very often, though.
Well,
I almost never get sick.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Well, try doing America's Got Talent and then a radio show and you'll get sick, believe me.
You're around too many people.
Doing shows and
today,
making movies.
You know why?
You're complaining about radio and America's Got Talent.
Do you know why you don't get sick? I'll tell you why. You don't stress out. You're like, hey, I made a movie.
Eat healthy, though, and I think that does matter. It seems like a wasteful thing sometimes, but it really seems to make a difference.
What does it mean, eat healthy? Everyone has a different definition of that. What are you eating?
Well, I don't eat meat. I stopped eating meat like in high school.
Right. Red meat.
All meat.
All meat.
I don't eat any meat. I don't eat any dairy.
No cheese?
No cheese. No.
No chicken?
Just total vegan diet.
What about fish?
No fish.
No fish?
No fish.
You're a vegan? How come I don't know that? I've fed you many times.
You've had him at your house
what I was eating, though.
I really don't. You know what? I totally...
I go through that little line of food in the kitchen. I go, what am I going to have here?
Oh, why didn't you say you were vegan? Who knew?
Because being a vegan's a pain in the ass for everybody.
It is. It's such a pain in the ass.
I'll never be back to your house.
No kid. Why did you become a vegan? Was it a moral thing? Like you felt wrong?
Well, at first it was just a vegetarian thing.
Yeah.
Which I was.
Right.
You know, and then, because, you know, when I stopped eating all that, and, you know, when you're 18, you're not thinking about health stuff because you feel healthy. But now it's a total health thing.
It is.
Yeah.
Because you love animals.
Yeah, I just feel bad about it, which I guess people think is stupid. But
your wonderful dog died recently.
Yes, that was horrible. Right before I came to your house the other day.
Yeah, Dracula.
Yeah.
What a great name for a dog.
That was a great dog.
Dracula was a good boy.
Yeah, it really sucks, as you know, because it's like when you get a good pet, sometimes you don't. Sometimes you get a pet and they're crazy.
Who's an asshole, right? Yeah.
And you spend, and
you can't wait for them to
every
go.
year goes by, like, is this animal ever gonna not be insane? And the answer is no. And
I was very moved by how upset you were because I got upset when my dog died, Bianca, and
well,
recently,
it was almost at the exact same time. It was almost like a month later.
And the two of us were commiserating that we missed our dogs.
Yeah, which unfortunately was when Jimmy was having his party.
Yeah, it was a real bummer. You were a real drag.
You two were all bummed out.
That's right.
Yeah. When the Jimmys were having their party.
Yeah, you know.
Yes.
Not only did my dog Bianca
Robin
die,
did quite a bit
but
of
my
singing
dog
that night.
My other dog,
Oh,
Java,
my.
recently died just a couple of weeks ago.
Really? You didn't
Yes.
tell us Java
I
died.
know. I don't even like talking about it.
Oh, dear.
You had another dog?
I had another dog when I was married to, you know.
Oh. I
And
never met that dog.
Java. Yeah, you never met Java.
Yeah.
Wonderful dog.
Java lasted a long time.
I would say, Java, come! And Java would come.
How old was Java?
Java was already like, I think, 15 or something like
Wow.
that. Yeah, something crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
well,
lived
you had a
long time.
bulldog and I had a pug, and they're kind of in the same boat. They don't live
Yeah, they
that
don't
long.
last long.
Although,
I think when people think Rob Zombie, they don't think he cares about dogs or anything. You know, I think they think you're an anarchist and a horrible person, right?
I always find that the people that seem the craziest are always the ones who care about animals the most, and the people that are like, you know, seem like they're so compassionate don't care.
Right.
But I have another dog now that I got.
Godzilla.
Yeah, I got as a puppy when Dracula was still alive. And the funny thing is, he's grown up now, and it seems like it's Dracula again.
Godzilla has really become a mensch. In other words, Godzilla behaves himself and doesn't really...
Sometimes. He's still a puppy. He's still kind of spastic puppy. But, you know, it's like it's turning into the same dog almost. It's kind of weird. So it makes it... Because I feel bad for you because you didn't...
I have 4 cats.
Yeah, you become a cat guy.
Well, yeah, I'm going to get I'll get a dog.
Cats are
eventually.
good, though. If you
but
get,
my
if you get
cats
good...
don't do well with dogs. They just, I don't know. They were okay. And now I got 4 of them.
But they were already grown when you got them, right? You didn't get kittens.
No,
Right.
no.
Yeah, that's
We-
why.
no.
That's
All
why.
right.
As you're risking them.
Well,
everyone's tuning out. Though.
As long as you're not forcing Godzilla to be Dracula, and you're being fair with him. All right, look.
Let Godzilla be Godzilla.
Yeah, well,
Right, let Godzilla be his own person.
I'll take that message home with me.
That's right. Well, look. And how is your beautiful wife?
She's good. She's the
star of the movie.
She did
and
not
she's-
come with me because she's like, I didn't want to get up early.
Is that right? Is she that jaded that she doesn't want to be on a radio show because she doesn't want to get up early? I always enjoy
I don't think
it.
it's jaded. I think it's just,
I always love looking at her.
Nobody wants to get up early. I guess.
That's a good-looking woman.
Yes, I got lucky there. I'm good.
Sure did. How long have you been with her now?
Well, let's see. Well,
Let's count
over
it
20
up.
years.
20 years.
Yeah.
Been totally faithful.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Look at you. No desires to. Boy, you seem like a guy who's got everything under control. The eating, the
The
everything.
eating, the pets,
the women,
the attitude.
You never got tempted on the road?
I don't like being around people that much, and the way I always look at it is like if you found one person
that you can tolerate,
that's great because most of the time,
Do you ever
I
get
don't
sick
feel
of
it.
her? Do you ever get mad at her?
Well, everybody argues about stuff sometimes.
You argue with your wife?
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Not that much.
I wonder
though.
what you're
really
arguing
not that
about.
much.
Yeah. What could you be arguing about?
I don't know. It's always something ridiculous.
Right.
It's always something that ends with me going, I don't understand what we're arguing about.
Right.
What is this again?
Hey, Brandon, you're on the air in Fredericksburg, Virginia. We're here with Rob Zombie.
What's happening?
Hey, bro.
I love Rob. I love White Zombie. I've seen him 3 times, but man, Rob is just sniffing and snarling or the.
Yeah, what are you sniffing? You got a cold or something? You're sniffing a lot today. I noticed
think
that.
that's me.
No, that's you. You go like this every couple of minutes.
Yeah.
What's going on, Rob?
I don't know. I guess I feel like I got to blow my nose or something.
You want a tissue? Don't blow your nose here. I don't want Rob blowing his nose, so you just have to put up with it.
I feel a little out of it, though.
You're a little out of it today? Who isn't? And the Lords of Salem book is in stores now. There's a book?
There's a book.
You wrote it?
Yes, it's a novelization of the film. Except it's actually the film we didn't make.
Oh, it's different from the film.
Well, it was based on the movie I thought I was going to make till I realized how much money I had to make the movie.
Right. Who gives you the money? Who gives you the $2.5 million?
It was I can't think of the name of the company.
Oh my goodness! You're such a great promoter.
Who cares? Nobody goes to the movies because of who gave me the money.
I'm just curious how you put that together.
But you'd think that you're thinking of the next guy, and he wants you to know who he is.
Yeah, maybe I
remember his name.
I want someone to give me $2.5 million. I want to be able to remember
And I can
his name.
forget them. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Seems like a long time ago.
Well,
Do
all
you are you a fan of Walking Dead and some of this new stuff that's on TV, Rob?
I watched Veep.
Veep? I'm watching that.
It's good.
Yeah,
That's very funny.
Yeah. You watch Veep?
Yeah.
You don't watch Walking Dead?
I had never seen it until about a week ago.
It's fantastic.
You're kidding.
No, see, I never watch anything like that. But Veep, yeah.
But
What else?
Walking Dead you didn't like?
That was good.
Yeah, not crazy about it.
Not really.
You don't watch Dexter? You don't
Game
watch...
of Thrones.
Never seen Game of
Dexter.
Thrones.
The fuck are you doing with your life?
Not watching a lot of TV, I guess.
I mean, of all the shows to watch, Veep. I mean,
hysterical, though.
Yeah, no, I
It
think
is
it's funny.
hysterical.
House of Cards.
Yeah.
I watched that. All those.
Oh, yeah, you like
those
that?
Are good.
Yeah, you watch those
that?
on Netflix?
Yeah, blaze
Yeah.
through those.
And Munsters. And that's it.
Monsters. I finally watched Breaking Bad.
How great was that?
I've decided I'm not. Oh, Girls.
Girls is great.
But I don't watch shows until they win Golden Globes.
Right. Well, good.
Yeah,
Wait.
so
let America decide. Do you watch Mad Men?
Let Walking Dead
I've never
win
seen
some
Mad Men.
awards.
I've never seen it either. I'm thinking of maybe
I'm sure
watching
it's great,
that. Yeah.
but I'm just catching up on MASH as we speak.
MASH. Oh, you're way into it. All right, listen. Who knows what Rob's up to?
What happens to Radar? Does Radar go home?
I don't want to tell you. I don't want to ruin it.
Robin, don't spoil it for me.
Yeah.
I know how you like to give away the ending.
I know. I'm a spoiler.
Radar gets blown up. All right. Well, anyway, Rob Zombie, everybody. He told you about what happened with Marilyn Manson. He told you about his new album. He told you about his new movie. Told you about the Munsters.
Answered all the Munsters questions.
Only got like one wrong. It's pretty one or two. That's not bad. Those are tough.
I should have quizzed you, see what you know.
I am not good with the trivia.
No?
No.
I bet you are. You just don't remember.
I mean, I love the Munsters, but I wouldn't know names and stuff. You're real good at it. All right.
Well,
Anyway.
who played Herman's boss at the parlor?
Oh, right.
know.
I know. Wait, I know his name. He was also on Leave It to Beaver. That guy wasn't he?
He was on everything.
What was that guy's name? He's bald, right?
No, he had some hair. He was,
who am I
now
thinking
I
of?
remember.
He
With
had
the glasses?
very famous sons.
He does?
Yeah.
Who is it?
John Carradine.
Oh, right. Oh, right. John Carradine.
John
I was thinking of somebody else. I was thinking of
I
somebody
was
else.
thinking of somebody else too.
Were you thinking of the guy that played Mel Cooley?
Yeah, Mel Cooley.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah, that guy. Well, who played the doctor, Herman's doctor, who
Right.
couldn't see real well?
Well, it was Dom DeLuise, right?
It was.
But
wasn't it Paul Lynde?
But I think they changed. One time he went,
Yeah,
it was
it was
Dom
Paul Lynde.
DeLuise. I think. Well, maybe it was when he.
Oh, maybe it was Dom DeLuise.
When he got into the accident and his face turned normal.
Right.
Wasn't it Dom DeLuise?
No, that was. I think
Or
that
was
was
that one
Paul
Paul
Lynde.
Dr. Dudley, is that what it was?
Yeah, because then he can see. He puts his glasses on. He sees Herman all normal, and then he takes his glasses
Yeah.
off, and he thought Herman came in with a pet animal because Herman's arm was all hairy. He didn't know. All right, look, we got to take a break. Rob, thank you for coming in
Thank
today.
you for having me.
When are you going to grow up, Rob?
I don't know. When I come in here and don't talk about the monsters, I guess.
All right, we'll be back right after these words. Thanks, Rob.
Thank you.
All right.
So, Rob, at a certain point during the interview, you guys talked about commercialism in America and how everyone wants everyone to love everything.
Yeah.
Howard's been a total counterculture guy from the way he approaches his show and interviews and everything like that. Why do you think he's been able to be commercially successful as well?
Well, I think that the thing that people forget is there's a lot of fucking people in the world. So even if half of them hate you, you can still be huge. So that's the thing. That's kind of what I mean when I say being non-commercial. Doesn't mean you have to be doing something that appeals to nobody. But so, Howard can be as outrageous and crazy his whole career as he's been and is groundbreaking and have, he always would have a lot of people that would hate him, but just as many people love him. And because of that, you can still be huge.
Right.
I think what I really meant was, see there's that sort of quest where like they feel like everyone must love it. In order for that, you get stuff that's so bland because you're trying to get little kids to like it and grandparents to like it. And at the end of the day, you've had that feeling. I'm sure you see a TV show, watch a movie, going, who is it that in their attempt to make everyone love this, no one loves it because it's so bland. It has no point of view. So I guess that's kind of what I meant. Oh, I don't remember even saying anything. I think Howard said it, but.
You've done, thousands of interviews over your career. What separates Howard from the rest of them?
Well, it's always different. I mean, for me, it's really different because at this point now, because I've known him for a long time, and you're friends, so I'm always very guarded in interviews. I don't really want to talk about anything that isn't just specific, work-related type questions. But with Howard, it sort of veers off that, so it's sort of comfortably guarded. So you tell him stuff you would never talk about in a million years, but at the same time, obviously people get very open. I get half open.